Chapter 169. Papa Duan was a man of his words. Duan Xiao, and had nothing in one night. He had promised Bai Xinlan yesterday that he would bring her to order a ring. But now, he had less than 100 yuan. He had nothing. However, he believed that Bai Xinlan truly liked him. She would not mind whether he had these worldly possessions or not. So, early in the morning, he still went to Shengting University. But this time, he did not drive. Bai Xinlan asked him, "Why didn't you drive?" "There was a small problem." Duan Xiaoan touched his nose and answered, "Let's go. I have already made an appointment with the designer. Let's go and order the ring now." Duan Xiaoan did not say anything. He went to the jewelry store with Bai Xinlan. If it was in the past, he would not even bat an eye at such a price. But now he had no money at all. Bai Xinlan seemed to be very happy. She kept exchanging ideas with the designer. But when it came to the price, Duan Xiaoan's expression was very unnatural. But Bai Xinlan did not notice it. "Miss Bai, this is the bill. Do you want to pay by card or cash?" Bai Xinlan took the bill and passed it to Duan Xiaoan. But Duan Xiaoan did not move. "What's wrong?" "Xinlan, actually I have no money." Duan Xiaoan could not pretend anymore. He had to tell Bai Xinlan the truth. Bai Xinlan's face changed when she heard it. "What nonsense are you talking about? You are the young master of the Duan family. How can you not have money?" When the jewelry store designer saw the two of them like this, he knew that today's work was for nothing. So he rolled his eyes and left. Duan Xiaoan took a deep breath. In order not to let more people laugh at him, he pulled Bai Xinlan and hurriedly walked out of the jewelry shop. "Xinlan, actually my car and everything else have been taken back by my father." "What do you mean?" "Our family might go bankrupt because—" Bai Xinlan was stunned when she heard the word bankrupt. "Because of Lu Qianqian." "Yes, the Lu family is going to destroy our family." Duan Xiaoan admitted honestly. "Then you should have told us earlier. If you had told us that you have no money, we would not have come here to embarrass ourselves." Bai Xinlan said angrily, "Do you know how embarrassed I was just now? Xian Lan, you said that you like being with me. Save it. Why would I want to be with you if I don't have money?" Bai Xinlan pushed Duan Xiaoan's hand away and hailed a taxi. She had never thought that Lu Qianqian would be so ruthless. First, she had made her unable to behave in school. Now, she had cut off the Duan family's livelihood in the business world. It seemed that she had encountered a tough nut to crack this time. Only by leaving early could one protect themselves. Duan Xiaoan thought that Bai Xinlan was angry, so he took a taxi to school and waited for her in class. But Bai Xinlan was not in the mood to talk to him. Her contact list was full of rich people. Why did she want to be with this poor guy? Soon there were rumors in the school. "I heard that Bai Xinlan's rich boyfriend's family went bankrupt. Didn't you see him taking a taxi to school recently? What's going on? What gossip?" "I heard that it was her boyfriend's fiancé's family who did it to avenge her daughter. How ruthless. They deserve it. That's what they deserve." Bai Xinlan saw that they had no money, so she tried to avoid them. She is too practical. "I hope that Bai Xinlan will die." Mu Qiqi had heard a lot of such rumors, but she just smiled. After all, beasts were not worthy of sympathy. It also showed how determined Qianqian was to make the Duan family collapse overnight, especially when she saw Duan Xiao and coming to stop Bai Xinlan a few times. But Bai Xinlan ignored him. That scene was so satisfying. She would be happy if Duan Xiao and was completely destroyed. Soon the class was over. Mu Qiqi walked out of the lab. She was about to call Sheng Xiao to tell him that she was at the south gate of the school. But Duan Xiaoan stopped her. Mu Qiqi was stunned. She put away her phone and looked at Duan Xiaoan. "Why do you like to come to me?" "Because you are good friends with Lu Qianqian." Duan Xiaoan was dispirited. He had lost his source of income and his status. Now he was just a poor guy. He looked miserable. "Tell me what you want." "I want to go home." "Can't you ask Lu Qianqian to let me go?" "I have nowhere to go now. I have no other way. Even if I know that you will not help me, I still want to try." "You are right. I will not help you," Mu Qiqi said coldly. Then she wanted to walk past Duan Xiaoan. But Duan Xiaoan grabbed her arm. "Let go." "I won't let go." At this moment, a black car suddenly appeared at the gate of the school. The man in the driver's seat saw Muchichi being grabbed and quickly rolled down the window. Although he was wearing sunglasses, his temperament and appearance could easily expose his identity. He asked Duan Xiaoan directly, "Do you want to die a worse death?" Duan Xiaoan turned around. When he saw Sheng Xiao, he quickly let go, because he knew that the Lu family would only make his family bankrupt. But Sheng Xiao could hang him in the forest and starve him for 3 days and 3 nights. If you want to live, you should go to the Lu family and apologize to them. It's useless to catch my people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Duan Xiaoan immediately bowed and apologized to Sheng Xiao. In the future, you better stay at least 10 meters away from my Chi-Chi. Otherwise, I will take action. Duan Xiaoan was frightened. He quickly raised his hands and surrendered. Then he ran away from the two. Mu Chi-Chi saw that Duan Xiao and was so afraid of Sheng Xiao. She smiled and got into Sheng Xiao's car. I was stopped when I was about to call you. Although I warned Duan Xiao, and you must be careful in case he does something desperate. I know. Mu Chi-Chi nodded. It seems that the Lu family has given him a big blow. You don't have to waste your time on this kind of person. After dinner, I will send you to the hospital to see your father. Sheng Xiao did not want to waste any more words on Duan Xiaoan. Okay. Mu Chi-Chi nodded. She had not seen her father for a few days, but she did not know that Rong Junhan had planned to let Mu Tongxue appear in front of Shen Jianchuan tonight. Chapter 170. It was 7 o'clock at night when Mu Chi-Chi arrived at the hospital with Su Zipei's chicken soup. Rong Junhan was in the ward. When she saw Mu Chi-Chi, she said to Shen Jianchuan as if nothing had happened, I will go to the small kitchen in the hospital to prepare dinner for you. In fact, Rong Junhan hated Mu Chi-Chi because of what happened in the Shen family that day. Another reason was that she had to prepare the clothes for Mu Tongxue. Shen Jianchuan nodded, but his eyes followed Mu Chi-Chi. After Rong Junhan left, Mu Chi-Chi let her guard down. She said to Shen Jianchuan, Father, are you okay? Shen Jianchuan felt Mu Chi-Chi's caring gaze. He nodded slightly and expressed his thoughts with simple words. Very good. Did Aunt Rong bully you? Shen Jianchuan shook his head when he heard Mu Chi-Chi's question. That's good. Actually, Mu Chi-Chi did not believe what Shen Jianchuan said, but she was still not sure about her father's character. So, she was afraid that he would be deceived by Rong Junhan. Shen Jianchuan was satisfied as long as he could see his daughter. No matter how difficult the rehabilitation was, he had the courage to overcome it. Shen Jianchuan looked at his daughter carefully, because she looked very much like Su Ziqing when she was young. However, when he saw the tattoo on her left earlobe, he could not help but ask, this tattoo looks like a person's name. Is it? Mu Chi-Chi was stunned for a moment. She did not expect her father to see through her. But it was only for a moment. She put away her surprise and answered Shen Jianchuan, It's my savior. In order to express my respect and admiration for him, and also to remind myself to live a good life, I tattooed it on my ear. Shen Jianchuan's eyes were full of pity and helplessness. It's all my fault. No, it has nothing to do with you. Mu Chi-Chi smiled and said, If you really feel sorry for me, please get well soon, okay? Shen Jianchuan drank the chicken soup that his daughter fed him with satisfaction. Then, he listened to Mu Chi-Chi talking about what happened in the Shen family that day. But in the end, he couldn't communicate like a normal person, so the father and daughter didn't talk much. Mu Chi-Chi stayed in the hospital for an hour. Then she left the hospital. Then, Rong Junhan came into the ward with dinner. Did you leave? Shen Jianchuan nodded. Chi-Chi still needs to be taught properly in the future. Shen Jianchuan did not reply, because Grandpa Shen and Mu Chi-Chi had told him everything that happened in the Shen family. He did not know if Mu Chi-Chi needed to be taught, but he knew very well how vicious Rong Junhan was. Whenever they had the chance, they would try to bully Mu Chi-Chi. Most of the reason was because Mu Chi-Chi was too similar to Su Ziqing. Very soon Shen Jianchuan finished his dinner. A moment later, that familiar face appeared outside the ward again. Rong Junhan saw Mu Chi-Chi again. She asked, Why are you back? I left something behind, so I came to look for it. Rong Junhan snorted softly. She did not say anything. Anyway, that was how she treated Mu Chi-Chi. And this Mu Qiqi walked to Shen Jianchuan's bedside and sat down again. Father. Shen Jianchuan looked at his daughter lovingly. But he had a strong feeling that this daughter's gaze was very different from the one he met just now. Mu Qiqi's gaze was firm and confident just now. But this Mu Qiqi's gaze was flickering with uneasiness. Although they looked exactly the same, Shen Jianchuan could still see the subtle differences between them. After all, every time Mu Qiqi came, he would take a few more glances at his daughter. He knew how she was like, and what kind of expression she liked to make. Then, Shen Jianchuan deliberately looked at Mu Qiqi's earlobe. He saw her tattoo again. He asked, "Why did you tattoo a few letters on your ear? Is there any special meaning?" Mu Tongxue touched her earlobe. Then she answered, "There is no special meaning. It just looks nice." Shen Jianchuan knew the answer, but he did not show it. He treated Mu Qiqi the same way he treated her. He said, "What did you leave behind? Hurry up and look for it." "The key to the house." Mu Tongxue looked around quickly. Then, she bent down and pretended to find it beside Shen Jianchuan's bed. "Oh my God. I thought I lost it. It's too late now. You should go back and rest. Qiqi, can you come to the hospital again this weekend to visit me? He's doing his rehabilitation today. I need some encouragement." Of course. Mu Tongxue was delighted. Did it mean that she had passed the test when Shen Jianchuan said that to her? Rong Junhan signaled her to leave. She had performed well tonight. If she did not look closely, she could not even tell the difference between Mu Qiqi and Mu Tongxue, let alone Shen Jianchuan. But how would they know? Even if they looked exactly the same, Mu Tongxue could not really imitate Mu Qiqi. Because the eyes could not lie. Then there was the breath. If Mu Tongxue pretended to be deaf and dumb, and just stood there quietly, perhaps they would believe her. But once she opened her mouth, everything would be exposed. Moreover, Shen Jianchuan had confirmed it with the tattoo. Mu Qiqi said that the tattoo represented her benefactor's name. She used this method to express her admiration for her benefactor. But Mu Tongxue said that there was no meaning to it. It was just to look good. So, Shen Jianchuan and Mu Tongxue agreed to meet on the weekend. He wanted Grandpa Shen to inform Mu Tongxue, so that she could come to the hospital too. He wanted to see how Mu Tongxue could justify herself by then. Of course, he also wanted to see Rong Junhan's reaction. Rong Junhan left the hospital not long after Mu Tongxue left. She smiled coldly when she saw Mu Tongxue waiting for her in the garage. "You're still useful. I did not raise you for nothing. So, what should we do next?" It's easy for Shen Jianchuan. But it's not easy to deceive the other Shens, especially Grandpa Shen. Of course, you don't have to appear in front of them. You just need to listen to my arrangements and create trouble for them. Shen Jianchuan asked you to come to the hospital on the weekend. You can go for another checkup to see if there's anything wrong with your body. This is a good opportunity. You did well tonight. Did well. Did Rong Junhan really think that Shen Jianchuan believed her? The next morning, Shen Jianchuan asked the nurse to contact Grandpa Shen. He wanted to meet him. Grandpa Shen avoided the Shens and went to the hospital. He heard from Shen Jianchuan about the real and fake Mu Qiqi last night. Then he snorted angrily. Rong Junhan should not be underestimated. Does she think that we don't know what she wants to do by using Mu Tongxue? Chapter 171. Grandpa Shen looked at Shen Jianchuan. He pointed at him and smiled. "You are still the same as before." He was sharp and smart. Even though he had been asleep for many years, he was still clear-headed. "Father, we can't let Mu Qiqi get hurt again." "I know. I will make the arrangements." Then, Grandpa Shen told Mu Qiqi and Sheng Xiao about this interesting incident. Mu Qiqi was actually very surprised after hearing that. After all, even the Mu family couldn't tell the difference between her and Mu Tongxue at times, let alone the fact that Mu Tongxue was pretending to be her. How could her father tell? Sheng Xiao saw that she was confused. So he said, "I told you that your father is different from the others in the Shen family. Do you believe me now?" Mu Qiqi remembered that Shen Jianchuan had asked her about the tattoo last night. She subconsciously touched the tattoo. "Last night, Dad guessed that this tattoo of mine was a person's name. So, I told him that it was the name of the person I admire the most. He did not ask much." Mu Qiqi was stunned. Sheng Xiao smiled when he heard the word admire. How much do you admire him? Don't mess around. Mu Qiqi held his warm hand. Did Dad figure it out because of this? No matter how he did it, at least we know that he did not fall into Mu Tongxue and Rong Juanhan's trap. Don't you worry about your father now? He is not a person who needs to be taken care of as much as you think. Sheng Xiao knew that Mu Qiqi was worried about Grandpa Shun and Xin Jianxuan. It was because she knew how it felt to be framed. She did not want the people closest to her to be tortured. Although, Shen Jianxuan had been framed and persecuted. Okay. Mu Qiqi nodded. Since father has made the arrangements, then we just need to wait for the show. I want to see how Mu Tongxue can imitate me. Humph. Sheng Xiao kissed Mu Qiqi on her lips. She can imitate your charm, but she can't imitate your taste. Mu Qiqi blushed. This man always liked to tease her regardless of the occasion. These few days, it was not only the Shen family that was bustling with activity. By Xinlan and Duan Shao, Anne's matter was also a hot topic in Shengting University. Bai Xinlan was obviously unwilling to be with Duan Shaoan, but Duan Shao and did not give up. He was full of affection for his mistress. It was a pity that this mistress only wanted to live a materialistic life. Without money, what else could she do? Hence Duan Shao, and was now a joke in Shengting University. He had tried all kinds of ways to stop Bai Xinlan, but he had never succeeded. The people in the school had been envious of him in the beginning, but now they hated him. It was clear that the attention they paid to scum like him had lost its novelty. Bai Xinlan was even more annoyed. She had finally found a rich man, but Duan Shaoan kept pestering her. She had to think of a way to get rid of this poor man. Soon Duan Shao and saw Bai Xinlan near the school. There was a black luxury car picking her up. Duan Shaoan was furious. He chased after the car and stopped it. He wanted to drag Bai Xinlan out of the car. But the person in the car pushed him away. Are you crazy? Xinlan, come home with me. Are you crazy? We were just fooling around. Why can't you understand? I was only after your money. You are an idiot. Do you really think that I am as loyal to you as your stupid fiancé? Let me tell you, Duan Shaoan. When I was with you, I had 3 other men. Before I slept with you, I even had a threesome with them. The driver in front of Bai Xinlan was stunned when he heard this. How could his boss be so casual with his woman? Duan Shao and took a few steps back. He could not believe it. The way you are now is no different from when you hurt your fiancé. The way I treat you now is the way you used to treat her. Duan Shao, and you deserve to be left with nothing. Bai Xinlan was about to close the car door, but Duan Shao and took out a dagger from his pocket and stabbed it at Bai Xinlan. Bai Xinlan screamed and dodged, so the dagger did not stab into her vital organs. Instead, it stabbed into her shoulder. Blood spurted out. The driver was shocked too. He quickly drove away, Duan Shao, and's eyes were bloodshot. He could not catch up with Bai Xinlan, but the bystanders had already called the police. After the attack, Duan Shao and dropped the dagger in his hand and fell to the ground. Not long after, the police arrived. They handcuffed Duan Shao and took him away. Duan Shao and's parents received a call from the police. Duan Shao and's mother was shocked. What are you waiting for? Go to the police station. The Liu family was settling the score with the Duan family. So, there were not many people who were willing to help the Duan family. Now that Duan Shao and was in trouble, Papa Duan did not have the ability to ask for help. He could only sigh. It's karma. It's that bastard's karma. Soon, the Liu family heard about Duan Shao and's attack on the street. Mama Liu felt a chill down her spine. Luckily, Qianqian did not keep in touch with this murderer. Otherwise, Qianqian would be in danger. Liu Qianqian also heard about Duan Shao and Bai Xinlan. Now, she could only say that the two of them deserved it. After Duan Shao was arrested, Bai Xinlan was not any better. Although Duan Shao did not stab into her vital organs, her arm was temporarily crippled. She did not dare to move at all. After she entered the hospital, she cried and screamed. The driver called his boss in the hospital and told him what had happened. When the boss heard that Duan Shao was so extreme, he immediately asked his driver to leave Bai Xinlan and do nothing. So there was no one to take care of Bai Xinlan in the hospital. These scumbags. They only care about money and not people. Wasn't this a reflection of herself? It seemed that there was nothing wrong with being treated like this. I will sue Duan Shaoan. I will sue the Duan family until they go bankrupt. After the incident, Lu Qianqian did not want to see Duan Shaoan anymore. Because there was no need to see him. Instead, she wanted to see Bai Xinlan. This woman didn't seem to realize that her doom was about to befall her. Qianqian told Mu Qiqi the news over the phone. But Sheng Xiao was not surprised at all when he heard about it. The 18-year-old Duan Xiao, and was obviously not willing to be toyed with and lose everything. So, whenever Bai Xinlan said something extreme, he would lose control. Chapter 172. Duan Shaoan is not worthy of sympathy. But his parents have to suffer with him. I can't help but sigh. Sheng Xiao patted Mu Qiqi's head and smiled. Everyone has their own fate. I always thought that you are a person who doesn't believe in fate. I am telling you that you don't need to worry about other people's business. Sure enough, it was Sheng Xiao's style. He would not pity Duan Xiao, Anne's parents, because they lost their son after they went bankrupt. It was because they had sown the seeds. If they had not spoiled Duan Xiao, and so much and allowed him to do whatever he wanted, they would not end up like this. Thinking of this, Mu Qiqi felt that Qianqian would feel better. Lu Qianqian sent someone to find out which hospital Bai Xinlan was in. She went to Bai Xinlan's ward as she had some free time. However, after Bai Xinlan's injured arm was bandaged, she could be considered to have come back to life. When she saw Lu Qianqian at the door, she thought that her eyes were playing tricks on her. But in the next second she calmed down. Miss Lu, are you here to persuade me not to sue Duan Shaoan? Isn't this a good chance for you to get him back? Do you think I am like you? I have thrown away the rubbish, and I still want to get it back? Lu Qianqian took off her sunglasses and sat on the sofa in Bai Xinlan's ward. Since you are not here for Duan Xiao, and I don't understand why you still want to see me. I am seriously injured. Is it not enough to appease your anger? Lu Qianqian smiled. I did not cause your injury. Why should I appease my anger? Tell me, what do you want? To be honest, you have a miscarriage. In other people's eyes, you and a flirtatious woman are the same. But we are both fallen women. I really can't think of any tricks you can come up with to deal with me. That is because you are poor. So your imagination is limited. Rich people have many tricks. For example, me. Lu Qianqian turned on her phone. I just spent some time to investigate all the men you have been with these years, and told their wives about you. Not many, just about 20 of them. Bai Xinlan's face changed when she heard this. By the way, kindly tell them your phone number information, home address, and so on. Take a guess. Will you be torn apart? Lu Qianqian, why are you pretending? Aren't you happy that I dumped Duan Shaoan? Lu Qianqian chuckled. Then she replied to Bai Xinlan. Yes, it feels good. But it doesn't change the fact that you've interfered in my relationship and indirectly caused my child to miscarry. With that, Lu Qianqian looked at her watch. It's almost time. I guess those rich ladies are coming soon. Having said that, Lu Qianqian got up and left Bai Xinlan's ward. Then, she bumped into the rich ladies who came looking for trouble at the door. They looked at Lu Qianqian and asked, Are you here to settle the score with the asterisk shoal too? She's inside. Lu Qianqian pointed. The two of them stormed into the ward. Soon, Lu Qianqian heard the sound of someone slapping her face. Among those men who had interfered with Bai Xinlan, some of them were from powerful families in Jianchuan. Bai Xinlan's fate was foreseeable. With how shameless Bai Xinlan was, she should be dead for hundreds of times in the wilderness. Lu Qianqian sneered. Then she left the hospital. The scumbags and the B** cheese were all dead now. She wanted to continue her life. On the other hand, Jing Yun was investigating Rong Junhan. He wanted to know if she had used the name Tong Shui for other things. So Jing Yun asked his friend in the police station to investigate if there were any suitable candidates in Jianchuan. The police did not find any criminal records about Tong Shui. So, Jing Yun tried to investigate in another direction. In the end, he got a shocking and exciting news. So, after the meeting in Huangyao, Jing Yun put the result on Sheng Zhao's desk. Young master, there are thousands of Tong Shui in the world. There are hundreds of candidates in Jianchuan. So, I've been investigating for a long time. I've also used many connections, but I didn't find anything. So, I decided to investigate this one. Sheng Xiao opened the document and saw the copy of the business license. It was a jewelry company called Sheng Rong. The legal representative was Tong Shui, and one of the shareholders was Shen Lin. Others might not know who he was, but Sheng Xiao knew that he was Shen Qiqi's second uncle, Shen Jinyun's son. I didn't expect that the relationship between second Shen and Rong Junhan was not only because of kindness, but also because of this. With such evidence and the testimony of the dean's daughter, can we prove that Rong Junhan had hurt young Master Shen a second time in the past? Sheng Xiao shook his head. His eyes looked deep. What if Rong Junhan said that there was only one Tong Shui? We can't rule out this possibility. Then, what should we do? Think of a way to prove it. Sheng Xiao put down the document and tilted his head. He looked lazy. Second Shen has been holding a high position all these years. He's a late bloomer. I'm afraid he's even closer to Rong Junhan than Grandpa Shen. I wonder how he would feel when he knows that he has acknowledged a traitor as his father. This woman is really interesting. She hid it well. So we just need to keep digging. She will give us more surprises. Sheng Xiao stood up from the sofa. Let's hide this first. Rong Junhan still wants to use Mu Tongxue to stir up trouble. We must think of a way to get rid of Mu Tongxue. This time we must get rid of her once and for all. I don't want her to appear in front of Qi all the time. It's disgusting. What do you want to do, young master? Sheng Xiao looked at Jing Yun meaningfully. Then he smiled devilishly. Let Mu Qiqi vent her anger first. Then, go to Brother Shen's ward and have some fun. Let's put on a show. Then Sheng Xiao hooked his finger at Jing Yun. Then, he whispered something into his ear. In fact, Mu Qiqi was looking forward to the weekend. She wanted to see how well Mu Tongxue could imitate her. Moreover, she wanted to see what Rong Junhan could achieve with her scheming. What would happen after she deceived Shen Jianchuan? But sadly, Mu Tongxue's acting skills were not effective against Shen Jianchuan at all. At night, Sheng Xiao finished his work. When he was about to go to school to pick Mu Qiqi up, he received a call from Jing Yun. Mama Sheng had gone to the villa again. So, Sheng Xiao asked Uncle Lin to bring Mu Qiqi home, while he went to deal with his mother. Mu Qiqi knew that Sheng Xiao had something to do when she saw Uncle Lin. So she did not ask anything. She went straight to the villa, and had dinner with her aunt. Chapter 173. Mama Sheng had come to her son's turf because of her quarrel with Papa Sheng. Moreover, she was anxious about her son's condition, and wanted to check if Sheng Xiao had a woman. So she decided to stay in the mansion for a few days. There's no smell of women in this place. Jing Yun, is your young master? Sheng Xiao saw his mother trying to get information out of Jing Yun when he entered the house. Young master. Mom, Jing Yun is just following my orders. Why do you have to trouble a log? Sheng Xiao sat on the sofa lazily. You can't hold it in anymore? You have to let me know what kind of woman you found, don't you? Mama Sheng looked at her son helplessly. You've done a good job keeping it a secret. I'm very anxious. I'm just messing around. Sheng Xiao said half-truths, wanting to see Mama Sheng's reaction. Mama Sheng chuckled and sat beside Sheng Xiao. She knew her son very well. He had been rebellious since he was young, but he had his own bottom line. Even if you're messing around, there should be someone like that around, right? Mom, you should go back. I'll let you see her in 3 months. Sheng Xiao promised. Really? Mama Sheng's eyes were already shining. Really? Sheng Xiao nodded. Mama Sheng knew that even if Sheng Xiao liked to play tricks on people, he would always keep his word when he made a serious promise. Then let me stay for 2 days. How long has it been since I last saw my son? As you wish. With that, Sheng Xiao went back to his room and texted Mu Qiqi. I'll be home late tonight. Don't wait for me, sleep by yourself. Mu Qiqi was a little disappointed when she read the message. She could not imagine what it would be like without Sheng Xiao by her side. Be that as it may, was Sheng Xiao someone who would be tied down by others? Mama Sheng had prepared a sumptuous dinner, but her son was nowhere to be found when she entered his room. Even Jing Yun had to leave the house out of fear of being questioned. Sheng Xiao was in a relationship, but he was suffering. It was 8 o'clock when Sheng Xiao returned to the mansion. Mu Qiqi had just come out of the small mansion and was taking a shower. Sheng Xiao heard the sound of the shower and took off his shirt, pushing the door open and entering the room. Mu Qiqi was about to say something when she saw him. But just as her lips parted, Sheng Xiao's kiss covered hers, urgent and ferocious. Under the shower, Sheng Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi tightly. It was convenient since he did not have to take off her clothes. Mu Qiqi couldn't stand such an urgent demand. She moaned. And in that moment, Sheng Xiao pushed her against the wall and lifted her legs. Mu Qiqi was so uneasy that she quickly grabbed his arm. Didn't you say that you would return late? Sheng Xiao pressed her head against the wall and pinched her chin. My little one, don't you know how attractive you are to me? Mu Qiqi blushed. She couldn't say a word because Sheng Xiao increased the force of his blows as he asked. I always thought that I was the one who needed you more. Sheng Xiao was furious when he heard that. If you don't realize it, don't even think about sleeping tonight. So the battlefield moved from the bathroom to the bedroom, and then from the dressing table to the bed. Sheng Xiao was full of energy. He would only stop when Mu Qiqi fell asleep. But when he saw Mu Qiqi's sleeping face, Sheng Xiao hugged her in his arms and murmured, You don't know how important you are to me. Mu Qiqi didn't hear anything. She just closed her eyes in the warmest embrace. Although her body couldn't bear it, she liked Sheng Xiao's endless demands deep in her heart. She liked the feeling of Sheng Xiao in her body even more. Because he found out that the Shen family and the person with the identity of Tong Shui had a company together, Sheng Xiao set up a trap to prove whether Tong Shui was Rong Junhan. Actually, they could get the answer quickly if they investigated the Shen family. But it would alert the enemy and make Rong Junhan cautious. So, Sheng Xiao did not plan to go to the Shen family. Instead, he asked Jing Yin to set up a trap. Since they have a jewelry company, it's easy. Jing Yin, go and contact a few partners. Do me a favor. Ask to see the legal representative. Even if you can't see her, you can get her signature or voice. It's not difficult to prove it. But young master, when do you plan to tell Grandpa Shen? And how do you plan to use this card? Sheng Xiao smiled when he heard Jing Yin's question. Isn't it Sunday today? There will be a good show when Mu Qiqi goes to the hospital. And you should prepare all the documents and give Rong Junhan a big gift. I understand. It was a call from Jing Yin early in the morning. At that time, Mu Qiqi was still sleeping soundly in Sheng Xiao's arms. Because it was the weekend, there was no class. So, Sheng Xiao didn't wake her up. He let her sleep until noon. Sheng Xiao got up and went to Huang Yao. Soon, Grandpa Shen called and woke Mu Qiqi up. Xiaoqi, why are you not in the small mansion? After Mu Qiqi heard the question, she suddenly sat up on the bed. I'm outside. Where are you? Grandpa will send someone to pick you up. I'm in school. Mu Qiqi responded quickly. Because Mu Tongxue had arrived at the hospital. Grandpa Shen was anxious to bring Mu Qiqi to the hospital, so that the show would be more exciting. Of course, Grandpa Shen asked everyone to go to the hospital to see Rong Junhan's real face. It was the weekend after all. They had time. So Grandpa Shen and the Shen brothers were in the same car. Mu Qiqi would arrive at the hospital alone. That would make the show more dramatic. Because of his previous experience, Shen Jianchuan could tell at a glance whether it was Mu Tongxue or Mu Qiqi who entered the ward. But Mu Tongxue and Rong Junhan did not know that they had been exposed. And they were still acting in front of Shen Jianchuan. Rong Junhan was sure that Mu Qiqi would not come to the hospital today, because Grandpa Shen told her that Mu Qiqi could not leave because of the research lab. In fact, Grandpa Sheng had deliberately revealed this information to her. If he had not said this, she would have thought of a way to hold Mu Qiqi back and prevent her from appearing in the hospital. Soon, the Shen family arrived at the hospital. Second Aunt Huang Yu did not look happy when she saw Mu Qiqi. Of course, she could not tell whether it was Mu Qiqi or Mu Tongxue who was in the ward. Dad, Second Aunt seems to dislike me. Mu Tongxue said deliberately in front of Shen Jianchuan. I don't like you. But, you don't have to complain to your father. Huang Yu retorted. Chapter 174. Since you admit that you don't like me, why don't you let me complain in front of Dad? Are you the one who is in the right? You. Huang Yu was furious. She really wanted to slap Mu Qiqi, but they were in the ward. It was not a place where she could do whatever she wanted. I know that the Shin family doesn't like me, and Aunt Rong treats me like a stain. But what can I do? I am Dad's daughter after all. Mu Tongxue imitated Mu Qiqi's attitude and tone. She wanted to maximize the conflict between Mu Qiqi and the Shin family. At the same time, Grandpa Shin opened the door of the ward. He was stunned when he saw Mu Tongxue. Didn't you say that you can't leave the lab? I just came to see Dad. I will go back later. Mu Tongxue answered calmly. Dad, you came at the right time. Look at her. She is so arrogant in front of the elders. She doesn't act like a junior at all. How can we like her? Huang Yu seized the opportunity to complain to Grandpa Shin. Grandpa Shin sat beside Shin Jianchuan. He pressed his hands on his knees and said nothing. He looked at his son when no one noticed. Mu Tongxue stayed silent for a few seconds. She thought that even Grandpa Shin did not recognize her. So she completely let loose in the ward. Anyway, she was Mu Qiqi now. She could do whatever she wanted. Because of this, she was not used to seeing Huang Yu. Taking advantage of Huang Yu's words, she suddenly stepped forward and pushed Huang Yu. Huang Yu staggered and lost her balance. She fell to the ground just like that, causing everyone to be stunned. Mu Qiqi, second elder, grabbed Mu Tongshua's clothes. His eyes were almost spitting fire. How could you push your second aunt? She treated me badly. Why can't I teach her a lesson? Look, this is your fox's tail. You finally showed it. Second elder sneered. Mu Qiqi, who was so confident and disdained everything in the Shin family, can't wait to slap her own face now? Second brother, let go. Old Master Shin said calmly to second brother of the Shin family. Dad, big brother, it doesn't matter if you're happy or unhappy today. I have to teach them a lesson. At that moment, Mu Tongxue took the opportunity to bite the second elder of the Shin family, causing him to groan in pain. What can you do to me? I can't stay in this house any longer. Seeing that her husband was also injured, Huang Yu shouted, Dad, from now on, the Shin family will either have her or I. Grandpa Shin glanced at Huang Yu and snorted. Qiqi will not treat her elders like this. You've seen it with your own eyes, yet you're still trying to excuse her. Mu Tongxue raised her chin in front of Huang Yu. Obviously, she knew that Grandpa Shin would help her no matter what. But Rong Junhong cleared her throat. She signaled Mu Tongxue not to get carried away. Otherwise, Grandpa Shin might recognize her. Fortunately, Grandpa Shin did not seem to be suspicious. She's just a kid. Seeing that Grandpa Shin was determined to protect her, Huang Yu was disappointed. I, Huang Yu, have a son and a daughter. I've never seen you being so biased. Fine. If that's the case, I don't want to stay in this house anymore. I'll leave now. Then, Huang Yu turned around angrily. She opened the door of the ward and was about to leave. But she was stunned the moment she opened the door. Because there was another Mu Qiqi at the door. Huang Yu looked at Mu Qiqi at the door. Then, she looked at the Mu Qiqi in the ward. It was almost the same. Even the tattoo and the mole were the same. This, second aunt, what's wrong? Mu Qiqi asked Huang Yu. Huang Yu snorted coldly. Suddenly she could not understand. What are you playing at? A substitute game? Then, Huang Yu opened the door completely. Everyone was shocked. Because there were two Mu Qiqis at the same time. This, Rong Juanhan's expression changed. Did she not arrange for someone to watch over her in the hospital? If the real Mu Qiqi appeared, they would stop her. Why was Mu Qiqi here? On the other hand, Mu Tongxue looked calm. But in fact her palms were sweating. Mu Qiqi smiled and walked to Mu Tongxue. She looked at her from head to toe. Then she said, Mu Tongxue, I didn't expect you to be so real when you pretend to be me. Mu Tongxue smiled too. Am I pretending to be you, or are you pretending to be me? Mu Qiqi found it interesting after hearing that. Mu Tongshue's acting skills were really impressive, and her improvisational skills were not just for show. Which one of you is Mu Qiqi? The one who was here before, or the one who came in later? The second elder of the Shin family couldn't help but ask. He really couldn't tell them apart based on their appearances. They looked so alike. I'm Qiqi, second uncle. Mu Tongxue took the initiative. Then, She pointed at Mu Qiqi and said to Grandpa Shen, Grandpa, although I don't know why Mu Tongxue pretended to be me, I am indeed Qiqi. Grandpa Sheng smiled at Mu Tongxue. If you say that you are Mu Qiqi, then show us the evidence. Even if they look identical, only one of them is the real Mu Qiqi. Memory is not something that can be faked, is it? Mu Tongxue smiled. Mu Tongshue's face darkened. A few days ago, there was a drama in the Shen family. Tell us what happened. Because only Mu Qiqi was in the Shen family that day. Mu Tongxue was not there. So, it must be Mu Qiqi if she could tell them what happened that day. But in fact, Rong Junhan had told Mu Tongxue everything that happened that day. So it was not difficult for her to answer the question. Everyone looked at Mu Qiqi when they saw that she answered without missing a word. She has already told us what happened at the Shen family that day, and proved her identity. So, you must be Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue nodded. Mu Qiqi looked at second uncle and smiled. What if someone told her? How is that possible? If that's the case, you should show us the evidence to prove that you are Mu Qiqi. My body is full of evidence. It's easy to test our identities. I just want to give Mu Tongxue a chance to confess. You are a fake, aren't you? Huang Yu snorted coldly. You two sisters are not easy to deal with. Although Mu Qiqi is really annoying. What dirty things are you trying to do by pretending to be her? I told you that I am Qiqi, said Mu Qiqi firmly. How can you prove it? Chapter 175. Of course I know the meaning of the tattoo. But how do I know that you are not trying to trick me? Mu Tongxue kept her composure. Suddenly, Shen Jianxuan interrupted their conversation. He pointed at Mu Tongxue and said, I asked her about the tattoo. She said it was because it looks nice. But you asked me about it too, didn't you? Mu Qiqi continued Shen Jianxuan's words. Shen Jianxuan nodded. And you said it's because you admire someone. That's right. I did not get the tattoo because it looks nice. It's because it's the name of my savior. He saved me from the hands of the wicked and gave me a new home. Who is it? Second aunt was anxious. Of course I know. It's the name of my savior. Mu Tongxue. I did not expect you to investigate me so thoroughly. Grandpa, this person is Assistant Jing. Because everyone thought that Mu Qiqi was taken care of by Jing Yan. The tattoo on her ear should be Jing Yan's too. Mu Tongxue wanted to seize the opportunity. But she heard Mu Qiqi's laughter. Jing Yan? Mu Tongxue, stop pretending. I will call Jing Yan now and ask for his English name. Mu Tongxue was stunned. Was she wrong? Mu Qiqi took out her phone and called Jing Yan. She explained to everyone. It's not Jing Yan's English name. He has another one. Actually, everyone knows him. He is the 8th young master of the Sheng family, the crown prince of Huangyao Sheng Xiao. Everyone was stunned when they heard Sheng Xiao's name, including Grandpa Shen and Shen Jianxuan, because Mu Qiqi did not tell anyone about it. Soon, Jing Yan's call was connected. Mu Qiqi did not say anything. She asked Jing Yan, Assistant Jing, please tell me the crown prince's English name. Why are you asking again? You, don't you have a tattoo on your ear? After Jing Yan said that, everyone understood. Mu Qiqi who came in later was the real Mu Qiqi. And the one who caused trouble in the ward was Mu Tongxue. After getting the answer, Mu Qiqi hung up and gestured at Mu Tongxue with her chin. I'm sure that if you take out your phone, there's no contact from Aunt Zipei, Jing Yun or the Crown Prince, right? Mu Tongxue instinctively grabbed her phone. I didn't bring it. Really? With that, Mu Qiqi stepped forward and took out Bai Sei's phone from her pocket. What is this? Mu Tongxue was speechless. She was completely stunned. As I said, it's actually very easy to tell us apart. Mu Qiqi held the phone and sneered at Mu Tongxue. I'm just curious. You pretended to be me while I was in the lab. You even got a tattoo and a mole. What are you trying to do in the Shen family? Do you want to replace me? Or are you trying to achieve some kind of goal? When Mu Qiqi asked that, she looked at Rong Junhan. Did you go missing for so long just to train yourself to become me? However, you seem to be lacking in maturity. So, it was Mu Tongxue who had a conflict with me just now. Huang Yu finally understood. Second aunt, aren't you curious about the reason why she did that? What reason could she have? She just wants to be rich and powerful. Huang Yu replied. You're wrong. If she really wants those things, why didn't she please you? Why did she try to cause a conflict between us? Moreover, she imitated me and did all the preparation work. It's not something that she could have done by herself. Don't you think that she's being instructed by someone? Huang Yu felt that it was reasonable after she heard that. Then who is it? Since we've come to this point, I'd like to share a few things with you. Do you know that Dad did not become a vegetable because he fought with someone? Mu Qiqi looked at Rong Junhan subconsciously when she said that. Rong Junhan looked at Mu Qiqi. After everyone heard this, they were shocked once again. What? Especially the old man, who immediately stood up from his chair. In fact, the thing that really made Dad a vegetable was the second car accident. Mu Qiqi explained to everyone. It was 2 or 3 hours after Dad got injured in the fight. Someone hit him with a car. Although I don't know if she did it on purpose or not, but according to the abandoned report and documents, Dad was hit by a car. And do you know who the person who hit him was? Who? Grandpa Shen frowned and asked. Her name is Tong Shui. I believe someone knows her well. After that, Mu Qiqi turned around and looked at Second Aunt. She realized that Second Aunt's expression was equally interesting. Second Aunt, don't you think so? Huang Yu suddenly panicked. She looked at Rong Junhan helplessly. Look at Second Aunt's expression. It seems that she needs some time to digest it. Alright, let's talk about Mu Tongxue first. Grandpa, is that okay? Mu Qiqi looked at Grandpa Shen and asked for his opinion. She also signaled him not to be anxious. Grandpa Shen took a deep breath and nodded. Okay, go ahead. Just now, Grandpa asked Mu Tongxue about what happened in the Shen family that day. She told us everything. So what does it mean? She was either not there or someone told her. And the person who told her must be there. So it must be someone other than Dad who was in the ward today. It's impossible for second uncle and second aunt. Grandpa and third uncle would not do such a thing. Third aunt is the most suspicious one. Are you kidding me? Third aunt rolled her eyes. I stay at home all day. How can I have the time to entertain her? So, Aunt Rong, can you tell us that you hid Mu Tongxue and trained her to imitate me to provoke the Shen family, because you don't want me to stop you from marrying into the Shen family? Of course, Rong Junhan would not admit it. Do you have any evidence? You're just spouting nonsense here. Just like how you said Jianchuan suffered a second injury. Of course, I will say it if I have evidence. Why should I be anxious if I don't investigate it clearly? Mu Qiqi answered Rong Junhan calmly. You are the only one who has the manpower and energy to do this. You must give us a reason, right? Otherwise, how did Mu Tongxue know about it? Did you install a surveillance camera, or a bug in the Shen family? Everyone looked at Rong Junhan, including Second Elder and Huang Yu. Actually, you don't have to be too surprised. Your sister-in-law has done more interesting things than this. Mu Qiqi stopped Mu Tongxue and grabbed her clothes. Don't you think so, Tongxue? Mu Tongxue gritted her teeth. She could feel that Rong Junhan was staring at her. Chapter 176. Of course, you don't want to know what I'm talking about. But you admit that you are Mu Tongxue, right? Mu Qiqi crossed her arms and smiled at her. You can't deny it. Moreover, we can easily find out who hid you, who instructed you, who trained you, and who told you about the Shen family. Then Mu Qiqi looked at Second Aunt. Since Mu Tongxue refuses to confess, then we will turn our attention to Tong Shui. Rong Junhan saw that everyone in the ward was fooled by Mu Qiqi. She sneered at her. Mu Qiqi, I think you are the one who planned all this, right? You asked Mu Tongxue to pretend to be you, and put the blame on the Shen family. You pretended to be the victim, but in fact you are the one who stole it. Aunt Rong, you seem to be very anxious. Mu Qiqi replied with a sneer. Otherwise, how can you explain that you appeared not long after Mu Tongxue appeared? I appeared because I received a call from Grandpa, Mu Qiqi said frankly. Do you think that Mu Tongxue could hide from the Shen family with her acting skills? From the first time she appeared in the ward, Dad had already seen through her. Because of this tattoo, Dad had asked me before what it meant. So he arranged to meet Mu Tongxue today. And I came here today just to see how similar Mu Tongxue would be when she pretended to be me. But it seems that she is just SOSO. So Shen Jianchuan and Grandpa Shen knew about it. No wonder they wanted to gather all the Shen family. That's right. At this time, Grandpa Shen finally said, Jianchuan and I knew that Mu Tongxue pretended to be Mu Qiqi. That's why we came here today. But I didn't know about Jianchuan's second injury. And Tongxue, second brother, can you tell me who she is? Second brother was stunned, because no one knew that he had set up a company with Rong Junhan. But now, it seemed that he could not keep it a secret anymore. I also want to keep your secret, second uncle. But this matter is related to the murderer who injured my father. So I have no choice but to make it public for you, second uncle. Then Mu Qiqi turned around and said to Grandpa Sheng, Grandpa, we found out that there is a company called Sheng Rong. The legal representative is Tong Shui, and one of the shareholders is Shen Lin. After the old man heard this, he looked at second brother. Is what little Seven said true? Second brother couldn't deny it, and could only nod. That's true, but... All right, second uncle, since you've admitted it, can you tell everyone that the legal representative of your company, Tong Shui, is this sister-in-law in front of you? Mu Qiqi asked. This? Looks like you've tacitly agreed to it. Now, as long as the daughter of the old director of the hospital was invited to identify the murderer, then the murderer who hurt her father for the second time would be revealed. Mu Qiqi looked at her and said, Aunt Rong, do you still want to argue? Humph. Rong Junan sneered. Are you trying to deny all the kindness I've done for the Shen family all these years, just because of your nonsense? Isn't your wishful thinking a little too good? It seems that Aunt Rong still doesn't want to admit it. Mu Qiqi looked at Huang Yu after she said that. Second aunt, you don't want to believe it either, right? I only believe in the evidence. Moreover, everyone can see how good eldest sister has been to the Shen family for so many years. What if she feels guilty and wants to monitor us? Mu Qiqi asked Huang Yu. I don't know what to say. Second uncle, second aunt, you've never been a bad person. Why do you still believe what Aunt Rong said all these years? Don't tell me that her actions over the years really didn't make any connection at all? Hearing what Mu Qiqi said, Rong Junhan went forward and raised her hand. She wanted to teach Mu Qiqi a lesson. Don't sow discord here. But Mu Qiqi turned her head and dodged. We'll know soon whether it's the truth or not. I don't want to talk to you. Since you're all against me, I'll leave. Rong Junhan wanted to leave, because she knew that it would be disastrous if she continued to stay in the ward. But Mu Qiqi had planted the seed of suspicion in everyone's heart. Even if she left, she would have to face it sooner or later. After that, Rong Junhan wanted to leave, but Mu Qiqi stopped her. Aren't you going to bring your beloved disciple with you? I don't know her at all. Don't accuse me wrongly. Mu Tongxue knew that she was abandoned by Rong Junhan now after she heard what Rong Junhan said. Finally, she could not hold it in anymore. I admit that she asked me to go there. At that moment, Rong Junhan had not left the ward yet. She brought me away from the hospital. She gave me the information and the video. She asked me to imitate Mu Qiqi. She said that she wanted to use me to sow discord between Mu Qiqi and the Shen family. To her, Mu Qiqi was the biggest obstacle to her entering the Shen family. After that, she gave me a makeover. Then she asked me to work in her dance studio. She asked me not to worry about my future. She would arrange everything for me. So, I did what she asked me to do. Why does it sound like you and your sister are working together to slander me? Let me tell you, I, Rong Junhan, will not be wrong so easily. Don't even think about it. Rong Junhan shouted at Mu Qiqi. You want to enter the Shen family, but you are afraid that I will stop you. I am a member of the Shen family. Why should I be afraid of you? Because you know that you won't have a good time as long as I am here. Are you done with your acting? Rong Junhan said sarcastically. Huang Yu, you still believe in eldest sister-in-law, don't you? Mu Qiqi and Mu Tongshua's acting is full of loopholes. Huang Yu looked at Mu Qiqi, and then at Rong Junhan. You are the one who is full of loopholes. Do you have any evidence? Rong Junhan raised her eyebrows and asked. If you don't have any evidence, I can sue you for slander. Then Rong Junhan wanted to go out. But when she opened the door, she saw the former director's daughter, Dr. Zhong. Rong Junhan took 2 steps back. Dr. Zhong entered the ward and pointed at Rong Junhan. Then she said to Mu Qiqi, "Isn't she Tong Shui?" What a joke. If I were Tong Shui, do you know how many times I come to the hospital every day? Dr. Zhong crossed her arms and answered Rong Junhan. I have been abroad for many years. Can't you hear that my tone is different? I only came back a while ago, because my mother passed away. At that time, because of eldest young Master Shen's car accident, you went to my father and revoked the license of eldest young Master Shen's attending doctor. You asked him to keep it a secret, but he refused. Chapter 177. I'm not talking nonsense. The hospital has an archive of discarded documents. You can check it out. Wait here. I'll look for it. Then, Dr. Zhong went to look for the documents. But Rong Junhan was in a hurry to leave before her. But she was stopped by Jing Yun's men at the door. Madam Rong, why are you in a hurry to leave? Don't you want to see the evidence before you leave? Jing Yun came to the Shen family with the gifts that Sheng Xiao had asked him to give. Rong Junhan's expression changed. She wanted to leave but Jing Yun stopped her. Then, Jing Yun handed the documents to Grandpa Shen. This is the evidence of eldest young Master Shen's second injury. At that time, eldest young Master Shen's attending doctor had found out the main cause of his vegetative state. However, Madame Rong had bribed the hospital director to hide the truth. The initial diagnosis is in the information. To avoid suspicion, Rong Junhan had used the alias Tong Shui to collude with the dean. But Madame Zhong had seen it. What's more arrogant about her is that she bribed the dean to use the alias Tong Shui. She also used the name Tong Shui to set up a joint company with second young Master Shen. She probably thinks that no one will be able to find out. Jing Yun passed the documents to everyone in the Shen family. The witness and the evidence were here. What else could Rong Junhan say this time? After Grandpa Shen finished reading the documents, he walked towards Rong Junhan step by step. His gaze was fierce. He could not believe that he had let a wolf into his house, after so many years. He had treated the person who had hurt his son as his savior. So, when he stood in front of Rong Junhan, he did not wait for her to say anything. He gave her 2 tight slaps on her face. Everyone in the ward was shocked by her action. Because of the 2 slaps, Rong Junhan's face was swollen, and there was blood at the corner of her mouth. I won't lose anything even if I shoot you today. Grandpa Shen pinched Rong Junhan's neck and said, You have lied to the Shen family for so many years. Now you want to hurt my granddaughter? Tell me, can I forgive you? Old Master Sheng even lifted the man up. Rong Junhan's face was red, and she could not breathe. Huang Yu quickly went forward and hugged Grandpa Shen's leg. Father, don't be so agitated. We can't do this. Then tell me, what should I do? The old man retorted with bloodshot eyes. Eldest brother has been lying on the sickbed for so many years. You brothers don't feel sorry for him. But I, as his father, am in so much pain that I can't breathe. And I'm old and muddle-headed. I let this be *tch take care of my son for so many years. If it wasn't for her, my son would have woken up long ago. Do you believe me? Grandpa, it's not worth it. Mu Qiqi also came forward to persuade him. A woman like her who is like a snake and a scorpion, and she still wants to marry into the Shen family. Second bro, don't you like it a lot? What about now? The old man looked fiercely at second brother's family and asked. Huang Yu lowered her head in guilt and slapped herself. We didn't know the right person and were used. Dad, please forgive us. I forgive you, but can you forgive yourselves? Huang Yu lowered her head and stopped talking. You can't be 18 years old yet. Rong Junhan did not expect that she would be exposed by Mu Qiqi in the ward today. She had underestimated her opponent. She thought that a little girl like her would not be able to find out about the past. She really did not expect that Mu Qiqi was so capable. Rong Junhan did not expect that Mu Qiqi was so capable. Ha ha ha. What a good show. But the Shen family is really stupid. It took you so many years to see the truth. That's right. I was the one who bumped into Shen Jianchuan that year. But so what? Su Ziqing has already married Mu Qiqi. But he still wants to be with her. So I have to teach him a lesson. Why? Can't I? What do you want? It's been 15 years. What can you do to me? Moreover, there are a lot of things that you didn't expect. Back then, I knew that Shen Jianxuan and Su Ziqing were together, so I called her. In fact, I didn't do anything wrong. After she ran out, she slept with the man from the Mu family. Not long after, they got married. Shen Jianxuan was excited when he heard that. It turned out that Rong Junhan was the one who caused Su Ziqing to leave him. Don't look at me like that. You and Su Ziqing are not compatible. You were not compatible in the past, and you are not compatible now. I just did not expect that Su Ziqing could give birth to such a bastard. So you deserve to be in a vegetative state now. After saying those words, Rong Junhan finally showed her true nature. She did not need to pretend anymore. I know that all of you want to strangle me to death. But I'm sorry. You don't have the ability to do so. Huang Yu, let's not talk about your company. Even your son, Shenlin's future is in my hands. You will never know whose daughter your daughter-in-law Xiaojing is. She's mine. Ha ha ha. What a stupid family. Rong Junhan was arrogant. But she had the ability to be arrogant. For the past 10 years, she had been secretly plotting against the Shen family. She would not let them go so easily. Huang Yu was anxious. She wanted to rush over. But Grandpa Shen stopped her. Don't you think you are stupid enough? Huang Yu's eyes turned red. She did not say anything. If that's the case, I don't want to enter the Shen family anymore. Anyway, my daughter has already married into the Shen family. It's nothing. I will leave Mu Tongxue to you. Remember to torture her well. I won't accompany you anymore. Then Rong Junhan turned around and left. But Jing Yin stopped her. Rong Junhan snorted coldly. Do you want to stop me forever? You can sue me at the police station if you dare. Jing Yun, let her go, said Grandpa Shen. After Jing Yun heard that, he turned his body slightly to let Rong Junhan leave the hospital and the ward. I never expected that eldest sister-in-law is such a person. Second uncle punched the wall of the hospital. And I treated her as my father for so many years. I even helped her a lot. I feel disgusted when I think about it. Huang Yu knelt on the floor. She did not know what to do. Father, what about Xin Lin? Now you are begging me? Didn't you only recognize your eldest sister-in-law? Grandpa Shen snorted. Father, you are magnanimous. Don't lower yourself to the same level as us. We were blinded by her. Huang Yu cried. Then why did you pick on Mu Qiqi for so long? Did Mu Qiqi ever hurt you? Chapter 178. Then, Father, why did you let her go? Shen Jingyan asked angrily. If I didn't let her go, should I keep her here? Don't forget who you are. Moreover, how would you know how many traps that woman has set for us? Let's talk about it later. What you need to do now is to find out the identity of your wife, Xiaojing. Rong Junhan is a few years older than eldest brother. So she must have had a child with a wild man long ago. But the Rong family hid it from us. Huang Yu felt as if a knife was stabbed into her heart when she thought about the couple who had just gotten married and had not come back from abroad. Mu Qiqi looked at the mess that Rong Junhan had caused in the Shen family. She shook her head and took a deep breath. Grandpa, Father, I'm afraid I have no say in the matters of the Shen family. But please let me handle Mu Tongxue. Xiaoqi, Grandpa Shen sighed. What do you mean you have no say in the matter? You are a member of the Shen family. Qiqi. Huang Yu thought about what she had done to her before. She felt ashamed. I'm sorry. I'm blinded by greed. I hope you won't hold a grudge against me. It's hard to predict a person's heart. Who would know that the family, who has been with us for more than 10 years, is actually a wolf in sheep's clothing? I don't blame you, second aunt. Mu Qiqi replied. It's not because I'm generous. It's just that what you are going to face next is a punishment. Since Rong Junhan dared to expose her illegitimate daughter, it means that she must have something on you. Perhaps she will make use of second uncle and her to set up a company. After all, second uncle works for the government. He will not tolerate such scandals. That's right. Look. Even an 18-year-old child can see things more clearly than you. Of course, she can see things more clearly than Grandpa Shen. Grandpa Shen snorted. He was old now. Why don't you go back and think about it? Why are you still here? Then father will leave first. Shen Jinyan pulled his wife. I'll learn my lesson in the future. Oomph. Grandpa Shen turned around and looked at third brother and his wife. What about you? Fortunately, I didn't have much contact with eldest sister all these years, so we don't have any financial ties. Third aunt smiled. Don't worry, father. That's good. Grandpa Shen glared at third aunt before turning to Mu Qiqi. What do you plan to do with Mu Tongxue? Mu Qiqi turned to look at Mu Tongxue and smiled. Grandpa, no punishment is better than letting her live under my watch. I'll give her a rundown house and a rundown school. I'll let her live a mediocre life, so that she won't be able to stir up trouble again. I want her to see me achieve success with her own eyes. Mu Tongxue smiled. I won't be at ease no matter where I put the rest. You can't just kill them, right? Mu Tongshua's expression was blank. She simply didn't know what the others were whispering to her. Nor did she know where Mu Qiqi intended to send her. Grandpa Sheng nodded in agreement. She looks like you, and can easily confuse people. So you have to be careful. Grandpa, I'm no longer the Mu Qiqi that she played with. Xiao Qi, you're a real member of the Shen family from now on. Don't be an outsider. As my granddaughter, you're the real third generation of Jianchuan. Who would dare to bully you? Mu Qiqi smiled and turned to look at Shen Jianchuan. Father, I'll come to see you another day. You must recover well. Shen Jianchuan nodded and smiled happily, because he had a feeling that Mu Qiqi would be a great person in the future. She would be able to make up for the lost time that he had been lying on the bed all these years. Grandpa Sheng was relieved after Rong Juanhan's true colors were exposed. He watched Mu Qiqi bring Mu Tongxue away and third aunt, and his wife leave the hospital. Your daughter belongs to this category. Grandpa Sheng gave her a thumbs up. Shen Jianchuan leaned against the bed and answered him with much difficulty. Father, we can let Mu Qiqi participate in second brother's business. Then, second brother and his family won't bully Mu Qiqi anymore. How dare he? But I'm really curious about Mu Qiqi's ability. If she can even solve second brother's problem, Grandpa Sheng will be very happy. But she is such a good girl. Becoming a forensic doctor. Since it's her choice, we should respect it as her elders. That was why Grandpa Sheng felt that it was a pity. If Mu Qiqi joined the army and followed his old path, her future would be limitless. But it was fine for her to become a forensic doctor. After all, she was serving the society. After this battle, Mu Qiqi knew very well that her position in the Shen family had changed. She would not be ostracized anymore. However, she still needed some opportunities to prove herself to the Shen family, if she wanted them to like her. Mu Qiqi asked Jing Yin to bring Mu Tongxue along. Actually, it was Sheng Zhao's idea. It was much safer for the Sheng family to supervise someone than to let her go outside. Sheng Xiao said that he wanted to get rid of Mu Tongxue completely. He did not want her to have a chance to stir up trouble again. So he gave her a poor house and a chance to go to a vocational school. He gave her a future where she would not be able to live. No one would help her, and no one would dare to get close to her. That would be her gloomy life from now on. The three of them sat in the car. Mu Qiqi looked out of the car window. After a long time she asked, "Do you still want to compete?" Mu Tongxue was dejected. Her heart was dead. So she shook her head. "I don't want to be you at all. All of this was caused by you. If you had a little bit of humanity and didn't do those things to grandma, mommy, grandpa, and that scum of the Mu family, you wouldn't have ended up like this. You are a member of the Mu family. No matter how cruel grandpa is, he would not reject his own granddaughter. It's you." Mu Tongxue felt ashamed and angry when she remembered what she did to Grandpa Mu, because she thought she was a member of the Shen family. Grandpa would never forgive me for the rest of his life. Why should he forgive you? You should know that the world does not revolve around you. Tongxue, everything in the past should be forgotten. You can say that I am cruel by keeping you in the slums, but I have to do it, because I know that you have nothing to play with anymore. I accept. Mu Tongxue shed tears. At least I have a place to stay. Sister, you are still the best to me, right? Chapter 179. For the proud Mu Tongxue, she would have to wash her own clothes, cook her own food, clean her own house, and live her own life. She would have to face the dirtiest environment and meet all kinds of bad people. It was the worst torture in the world. And because she would have to deal with life, Mu Tongxue would not have the energy to cause trouble anymore. Miss Qiqi, let's go. Jing Yin reminded Mu Qiqi. No one will recognize Mu Tongxue in 3 months after she comes here. Someone will take care of her. Don't worry. Because the tribulations of life can change a person beyond recognition. And she had bullied Mu Qiqi before. Would Sheng Xiao let her live in peace? Daydreaming. For a young lady like Mu Tongxue, being reduced to such a state was like falling from heaven to hell. Could it be worse? Mu Qiqi nodded and went back to the car. From then on, she and Mu Tongxue would truly lead 2 different lives. After returning to the little mansion, Mu Qiqi told Su Zipei everything that had happened in the ward that afternoon. Su Zipei could not help but tremble in fear when she heard it. I really did not expect that the Shen family had such a dirty secret. But fortunately, Rong Junhan did not marry into the Shen family. It is a blessing in disguise. But Rong Junhan will not let it go. She kept second uncle's family in check. Mu Qiqi sat in front of Su Zipei and took a sip of tea. Let's not talk about the Shen family. Aunt, when are you going to marry Uncle Lu? And I really think that you two should have a small wedding. You don't have to worry about us. But do you think the Shen family doesn't hate you now? Mu Qiqi sighed and smiled. How can they not hate me? They just don't hate me as much as before. That is a good sign. And what are you afraid of when young Master Sheng is here? But when you have a stable position in the Shen family, you will be more distant from young Master Sheng. He is your uncle after all. Will the Shen family support you to be with young Master Sheng? That was the thing that worried Su Zipei the most at the moment. Yes, you are the daughter of the Shen family now. Your status is different. But will Grandpa Shen do what he did to your parents? Mu Qiqi was not sure about that. But she and Xiao Xiao would not be torn apart so easily. I believe in Xiao Xiao. Since he has made such arrangements, he must have a plan in mind. When you get home later, ask him. Mu Qiqi trusted him, so she did not have to ask. Be that as it may, Mama Sheng was still in the villa she had prepared for Sheng Xiao. She had wanted to get close to her son and find out what kind of woman he was hanging out with. But Jing Yin was not at home all the time, much less Sheng Xiao. Moreover, she had heard something about Mu Qiqi. Therefore, after staying in the villa for 2 days, she finally waited for Jing Yin to return home to rest. She stopped him and asked, Jing Yin, I heard something. I want to confirm it with you. Jing Yin knew what was going on, but he was still worried. He was afraid that Mama Sheng would ask, but he had to deal with Mama Sheng for Sheng Xiao. Please ask, madam. Mama Sheng held her teacup and rested one hand on her other elbow, her eyes puzzled. I heard that Sheng Xiao asked you to save a girl from the Mu family? Madam, she's a child of the Shen family who's living outside. How old is she? Does Sheng Xiao visit her often? 18. She's in college now. Why would young master have the time to visit a little girl? It's just that this child saved young master's life when he was in a car accident. To return the favor, he asked me to help this child, Jing Yin said calmly. Mama Sheng nodded at that. Jing Yin, you have to be careful. You should know that there are a lot of girls out there waiting to climb into your young master's bed. Don't be careless and mess things up. I know. Since she's a child of the Shen family, it's fine to bring her to the Sheng family and let everyone get to know her. The Shen family is in a lot of trouble now. I'll make arrangements for you after this. Jing Yin said evasively. All right. I'm going back to the Sheng family now. I can't do anything about Sheng Xiao. Satisfied, Mama Sheng put down the teacup in her hand. I'll see you off, madam. Then, Jing Yin told Sheng Xiao everything Mama Sheng had asked Mu Qiqi. Sheng Xiao had just returned to his new home. He found Mu Qiqi reading some documents on the living room couch, but he still answered Jing Yin. You did well. Young master, forget it. You should rest. Jing Yin was worried about Sheng Xiao. He had promised Mama Sheng that he would bring her daughter-in-law home in 3 months. Was he really going to bring Mu Qiqi to the Sheng family? He wanted to ask, but he knew very well that Sheng Xiao would not answer him. Sheng Xiao raised a brow and hung up. He did not have to tell Jingyun everything about his own private affairs. When they entered the living room, he hugged Muchichi from behind and carried her to the dining table. Then Muchichi turned around and saw Xingzhao's handsome face as she wished. I know what happened in the hospital this afternoon. Did you enjoy it? I didn't manage to get Rong Junhan. Do you think I enjoyed it? Muchichi snorted. Of course. I know that this woman has been lurking in the Shen family for so many years. It's not easy to deal with her. A cunning rabbit has 3 burrows. I believe that she must have prepared 10 escape routes for herself after staying in the Shen family for so many years. I've never seen such an evil person. She married her illegitimate daughter to the Shen family just to control the Shen family. It's your second uncle and second aunt's fault. Sheng Xiao loosened his tie and revealed his sexy collarbone. Now, Rong Junhan clearly wants to suck the blood of your second uncle and his family. Just like what you said, it's second uncle and his family's fault. I don't care about this kind of thing. Muchichi hugged Xingzhao's neck and said, moreover, Grandpa and Father are so smart. How can they not deal with Rong Junhan? How hard can it be to deal with a woman? Xingzhao put her down from the dining table and led her to the bedroom. But your grandfather and second uncle are not suitable to be involved in certain situations. And you are a cunning little girl. You are not an outsider. And you don't belong to the Shen family completely. Most importantly, you are not afraid of anything. You dare to go anywhere. Do you think Grandpa Shen will let you go? Xiao, my aunt asked me today, what about our relationship if I manage to get a foothold in the Shen family? Muchichi suddenly remembered Su Zipei's question in the afternoon. Do you really want to be my uncle? Then, Sheng Xiao turned around and lifted her chin. He said, I will be your uncle and your man. You are really? Come on. I will let you see if your uncle is old or not. Chapter 180. Grandpa Shen wanted Shen Jinyan to find out the relationship between him and Rong Junhan. Now second elder of the Shen family was in a dilemma. Other than Shen Lin's company, there are 3 other companies. I don't want to know how many companies you have now. I just want to know if you have done anything against the rules for this woman. Have you done anything behind the scenes? Grandpa Shen sat on the main seat in the living room and placed his hands on his knees. Father, you know me. No matter how bold I am, I won't dare to do something like that. We still need to find out whether you will do it or not. Huang Yu, tell us about Xiaojing now. Grandpa Shen glared at Shen Jinyan, and then looked at Huang Yu. However, when it came to Shen Lin, Huang Yu became more worried. When Xiaojing and Shen Lin were together, she told Shen Lin that her father was a painter, and her mother passed away after giving birth to her. Since they had never met her mother, they believed what she said. Yesterday, I asked a reliable friend to investigate it. Finally, I found out that Rong Junhan dated a poor painter for a period of time when she was young, but no one knew that they had a daughter. Moreover, Dad, all our assets are under Shen Lin's name now. If Xiaojing really wants to do something, I'm afraid that we'll lose everything we've worked hard for the rest of our lives. Who asked you to be so gullible? Why didn't Rong Junhan go to third elder and his wife? Speaking of which, I have a big responsibility. Grandpa Shen took a deep breath. Now the biggest problem is Shen Lin. If Shen Lin is not bewitched and can tell right from wrong, it will be easy. But if I will call Shen Lin now and ask him to come home. How about asking him to come home? Do you want him to divorce after he just got married? Grandpa Shen was having a headache now. Rong Junhan was really evil. How could she come up with such a plan? Moreover, Shen Lin only cares about Xiaojing now. He might not believe you no matter what you say. In the end, you might lose both your money and yourself. What should we do now? How many days before they come back? Grandpa Shen asked. 2 days. Huang Yu answered quickly. 2 days. I'll have to think about it. There's another problem, Dad. Shen Lin might be prejudiced against Chi. After all, The old man glanced at her and understood the meaning of her words. It was normal for a mother to complain to her son, but he still couldn't help scolding. Xiaoqi owed you in her previous life. Moreover, Jingyan had already calculated the things that second brother had prepared for Grandpa Shen. He had also prepared the information and handed it to Sheng Xiao. Sheng Xiao felt that Rong Junhan was quite an interesting person. Just because the second son of the Shen family was rather dull, she was like a vampire. She brought along her daughter and attached herself to the second son's family. It was one thing to swindle money, but the most unforgivable thing was to swindle feelings. Shen Lin will be back from abroad in 2 or 3 days. He is an arrogant and despotic person. In addition, you are younger than him. It is inevitable that he will target you. Moreover, his wife is fanning his ears. So what if he hates me? I don't depend on him for a living. Mu Qiqi held Sheng Zhao's shoulder and snorted. But you exposed Rong Junhan. I'm afraid the Shen family is counting on you to solve Shen Lin's problem. They are newlyweds. How can I tell them that his wife is doing this for his money? Mu Qiqi could not bear it, because it would be painful for her to think about it if it happened to her. If someone else had told her to separate from Sheng Xiao like that, she would have been better off dead than alive. Lying is lying. You might think that it is cruel, but Rong Junhan and Rong Junhan don't think so. Sheng Xiao turned around and hugged Mu Qiqi. Then he put her on his lap. What if I lied to you? Mu Qiqi asked tentatively. Sheng Xiao bent down and smiled. You can't lie to me with your little tricks. If I find out that you lied to me, you won't be able to keep your butt anymore. Aren't you angry? I am angry, but I will train you. I will beat you every time I lie to you. I can't let you leave my side. Good or bad, you are my little one. Sheng Xiao lifted Mu Qiqi's chin. His eyes were dangerous and warning. I told you before. Since you dragged me into hell, don't think that you can get out of it. As for me, I won't lie to you about my principles. At most, I will tell a little lie every day. Mu Qiqi made a gesture with her hand. I know, because there were not many people who could lie to him in this world. Although he was a devil, he was a meticulous person. It was difficult for ordinary people to notice what Sheng Xiao was looking at. But he was a person who knew how to behave. So did she want to lie to him? Even if she cultivated for 10 lifetimes, it would not be enough. Have you tried your little uncle's body? Do you feel old? Mu Qiqi thought of those things just now. She blushed. Can you not talk about this here? We are on the bed. What else can we talk about? Sheng Xiao teased her on purpose. Well, it's very useful. What do you think of it? Since it's very useful, let's use it again. Then, Sheng Xiao turned off the light. Although the room was dark, the atmosphere was getting more and more intimate. Then they started to moan. It was true. Second Elder was in the middle of the situation now. So, he desperately hoped that someone could help him. It was not a problem of money now. He just could not let his son be ruined like this. Rong Junhan was controlling his son. Who knew what else she would do to him? Huang Yu was a straightforward person. She was good at fighting. But when it came to scheming, she could only look at Third Aunt's back. But she was not on good terms with her. Father, after the couple comes back, let's have a meal together. Let Shen Lin get to know Mu Qiqi. Huang Yu suggested to Grandpa Shen. Grandpa Shen did not like Huang Yu's character. She even wanted to beat her up. Now, she had to ask for help. It was so embarrassing. But he still agreed with Huang Yu. That's good. We should get to know each other. But, let me make it clear first. If Shen Lin speaks rudely to Mu Qiqi, you must not spoil your son. Dad, I really did admit my mistake. I also know that Mu Qiqi is innocent. Although I'm a dumb person, I can distinguish between kindness and hatred. Since Mu Qiqi is a good person, of course, I won't mistreat her anymore. That's more like it. Chapter 181. The next day, Shen Lin brought his wife home. But he did not go back to the Shen family after they got off the plane. Instead, he went to his wife's house. During dinner, Shen Lin's father-in-law, who was a painter, told him, I heard that your Shen family has a sister who doesn't share the same surname. She is your eldest uncle's daughter. She has turned the Shen family upside down. Humph. If she doesn't have Grandpa's support, she is just an 18-year-old girl. What can she do? Shen Lin drank a glass of red wine. He was full of resentment. Grandpa has never treated my sister and me like that. I don't care what is going on in the Shen family. But you can't let my daughter be wronged. Otherwise, I will make her leave you. Don't worry, father-in-law. Shen Lin raised his glass and toasted to his father-in-law. Xiao Jing is my life. Yu Jing took the opportunity to glance at her father. Their eyes met. Nothing needed to be said. There was no need for them to say anything else. They were all liars. The next morning, Shen Lin brought Yu Jing back to the Shen family. However, on the way back, Yu Jing asked Shen Lin, I heard from my father that this sister of yours, who doesn't share the same surname as you, has a lot of tricks up her sleeves. She made Grandpa very happy. So, I'm afraid that Dad and Mom will side with her. Don't worry. Our parents hate her. Shen Lin replied. Even if our parents are convinced by her, I will not let you be wronged. I am your elder brother. I am your elder. Shen Lin, you're the best to me. Yu Jing leaned on Shen Lin's chest lovingly. Then Shen Lin brought Yu Jing into the Shen family. However, the atmosphere in the Shen family was strange. The elders looked at Yu Jing from time to time. They were suspicious of her. It made Shen Lin uncomfortable. Dad, Mom, don't you know Xiao Jing? Why are you looking at her so strangely? It's nothing. Did you have fun abroad? Huang Yu listened to Grandpa Shen. She did not want to ruin her relationship with her son. With her temper, she would not be able to hide it. However, Grandpa Shen called Mu Chichi this morning. Mu Chichi told Grandpa Shen that second aunt must suppress her temper. Since Shen Lin hated her now, she would play the bad cop and second aunt would play the good cop. Then they would play the good cop and the bad cop together. In this way, even if Shen Lin hated her even more, he would not let second aunt tell him about it. If they hurt their relationship, they would fall into Rong Juanhan's trap. After hearing Mu Chichi's words, Huang Yu almost knelt down in front of Mu Chichi. I never thought that you would still be willing to help me. Xiao Qi isn't a good person. She didn't treat you like this because she forgave you. Dad, I know. Huang Yu nodded. Xiao Qi is a part of the Shen family. She did this because of you and eldest brother. Humph. Therefore, when her son and daughter-in-law came back in the morning, she reminded herself to resist the urge to question Yu Jing. Isn't a honeymoon like that? 2 days ago, you told me that the engagement between eldest uncle and eldest aunt was cancelled. What's going on? Did that girl not agree to it? It has nothing to do with Mu Chichi. I will tell you the details later. Huang Yu did not mention a word about it, because Mu Chichi told her not to. It was because there were too many people involved in this matter. It was inevitable that Huang Yu would say something wrong. So, she told her not to say anything. It must be like this. Your grandpa knows that you are coming back. So he arranged a banquet to welcome you. You and Xiao Jing should go back to your room and have a rest. I will tell you when it's time for dinner. What do you mean by welcoming us? It's just to let us see that girl, right? Shen Lin said angrily. Eldest aunt has been worried about this family for so many years. Now this wild thing came out and got in her way. It's so unlucky. Huang Yu resisted the urge to scold him. She quickly drove her son away. Go, go. Because she was afraid that if Shen Lin said another word, she would not be able to hold it in anymore. What Rong Junhan wanted to do was to play mind games. She knew the Shen family too well. She did not want to play such tricks. Moreover, Mu Chichi was just an 18-year-old child. So, she revealed Yu Jing's secret to the public. Indeed, Mu Chichi was just 18 years old. But Sheng Xiao, who was behind her, could not be compared to 10 Rong Junhans. In the phone call between Mu Chichi and Grandpa Sheng in the morning, other than Mu Chichi's own thoughts, Sheng Xiao had given her a lot of hints. Shen Lin was very angry. As her son, of course, he noticed that his mother was behaving strangely, but he could not tell why. Yu Jing saw that and smiled. She comforted him. Don't think too much. No matter what, it will be fine when you see her tonight. At that time, I must teach this girl a good lesson. She should know what she should do, and what she should not do. Whether Mu Chichi had Grandpa Shen's support or not, she was still Sheng Xiao's treasure. And Sheng Xiao would only teach his woman how to take advantage of others. If she had the upper hand, how to show off. He would never teach her how to be humble and keep a low profile. Soon it was night. Mu Chichi came out of Shengting University. She got into Sheng Xiao's car. When can I go to the Shen family with you to have a meal openly? Sheng Xiao glanced at her while he was driving. Do you really want to go public with me? Of course not. I don't want to call you uncle. Muchichi pouted. But sometimes I really want to. Where is the hotel? The dynasty. Muchichi answered. Why do you ask? Sheng Xiao did not answer her. He sent Muchichi to the dynasty and called Jing Yun. Since Muchichi wanted him to appear in the Shun family, of course, he could make it a beautiful encounter. After all, he still needed to eat, right? Muchichi did not know what Sheng Xiao was thinking about. She went straight into the hotel and went to a private room. Sheng Xiao had told her not to be late or early. She did not want to be early to remind others of her identity. But she did not want to be late, so that others would not be able to use it against her. So, when she arrived at the private room, she was just in time. Chi-Chi, you are here. Grandpa Shun waved at her when he saw her. Come. Grandpa is here. How dare you to let the whole family wait for you? Shenlin crossed his arms and snorted coldly. Muchichi heard that. Then, she looked at Shenlin and raised her eyebrows. You must be Shenlin brother Shen, right? Grandpa told me that the dinner will be served at 7. So I arrived at 7. Is there a problem? I am not that close to you. Don't call me brother first. It's so straightforward. Chapter 182. What did you say? Shenlin looked at Muchichi angrily. Don't think that I won't dare to hurt you just because Grandpa is protecting you. I just came here and you're already angry. Are you trying to teach me a lesson? Muchichi leaned back and looked at Shenlin. But, I don't want to be angry because of you. I pity you. Shenlin looked at Muchichi. What are you talking about? Do I need you to pity me? Why don't you need me to pity you? Do you know what your wife's real identity is? Muchichi looked at Yu Jing with a cunning look. What does this have to do with Xiaojing? If you continue to talk nonsense, I won't be polite to you anymore. Shenlin stood up and slammed the table angrily. Miss you. Do you dare to tell your husband who your mother is? Yu Jing looked at Shenlin awkwardly. I don't. I know that you want to tell everyone that your mother passed away during childbirth, right? Then I must congratulate you. Your mother is not dead. Muchichi clapped her hands in front of everyone. Because she admitted that you're her daughter in front of everyone in the Shin family. You can't deny it, can you? What are you trying to say? Shenlin was puzzled. What I want to say is that your new wife, Yu Jing, is Rong Juanhan's daughter. She's her illegitimate daughter with the painter. Do you understand? Shenlin was stunned when he heard what Muchichi said. He looked at his wife in disbelief. Then he looked at his parents. From their silent attitude, Shenlin got the answer. Is it true? Shen Jingyun and his wife did not say anything. Even if it's true, isn't it too close? Closer ties? Muchichi sneered and stood up. Do you know why your eldest uncle, who is my father, has been lying in bed for more than 10 years? Miss Yu's mother, Rong Junhan, hit him with her car. Stop slandering me. Eldest uncle became a vegetable because of a fight. Who are you trying to fool? Shenlin held Yu Jing's shoulder. He was afraid that his wife would be sad. Whether I'm lying or not, the evidence is clear. Now what I want to know is, Miss Yu, are you in cahoots with the evil like your mother? Muchichi pointed at Yu Jing and asked sharply. Shut up. Shenlin scolded loudly. This is the Shen family, not a place where an outsider like you can behave atrociously. Muchichi, you should be more suitable too. Huang Yu immediately got into character and played the part of the red-faced girl. My son and daughter-in-law didn't offend you. What do you mean you didn't offend him? This woman's mother caused my father to lie in the hospital for more than 10 years. She caused me to be bullied by the Mu family for so many years. So what if I ask her now? Or second aunt, are you not afraid that this woman is here to cheat your son's feelings? Yu Jing pretended to be pitiful. She looked at her husband and said, I don't know anything. I don't know why eldest aunt is my mother. Xiaojing, it's not your fault. Someone is trying to pick a fight with you. I'm trying to pick a fight with you? Are you the president or the most powerful man in the world? Shenlin, I'm going to pick a fight with you. Don't be cheated by others. When Muchichi said that, Shenlin couldn't stand it anymore. He stood up and walked to Muchichi. He grabbed her clothes and said, I asked you to shut up. You little bastard. Shut up. Grandpa Shen couldn't stand it anymore when he heard the word little bastard. He looked at Shenlin sternly. Chi-Chi is just curious about what happened these few days. So she wants to ask her granddaughter-in-law. Why are you bullying her? How can you behave like this? Grandpa, I know you care about your granddaughter. But this woman has ulterior motives. We don't know what she is going to do to the Shen family. I think you're blind, Shenlin. The truth is right in front of us. Rong Junhan has done so many bad things. She has admitted it in front of everyone. Yu Jing is her daughter. I don't believe that she can stay out of this. What a joke. Eldest aunt is eldest aunt. Xiao Jing is Xiao Jing. If Xiao Jing says that she doesn't know anything, she definitely doesn't know anything. Don't be a troublemaker. I believe in Xiao Jing too. Huang Yu agreed with her son. Shen Lin became more confident when he saw his mother supporting him. Moreover, this is our family's matter. It has nothing to do with you, an outsider. You better watch your mouth and get out of here. During that time, third brother went out of the room and went to the washroom. But he bumped into Sheng Xiao on his way back. Therefore, when the two of them entered the private room, the atmosphere was tense. Oh, it's Sheng Xiao. Uncle Shen, what a coincidence. I was meeting a business partner here and bumped into third brother Shen. When everyone saw Sheng Xiao, they knew the relationship between Mu Qiqi and Sheng Xiao. But Huang Yu did not tell her son about the relationship between Mu Qiqi and Sheng Xiao. So Shen Lin said to Sheng Xiao, Crown Prince, you don't know how powerful my sister is. She has turned the Shen family upside down the moment she entered the Shen family. At that moment, Sheng Xiao was still in the same outfit when he sent Mu Qiqi to the hotel. He was wearing a black retro suit, which made him look noble. Then he walked to Mu Qiqi slowly. Then he raised his hand and patted Mu Qiqi's head. Why are you so naughty when I let you enter the Shen family? Everyone could tell that he was not blaming her. He was spoiling her. Of course, the others did not find it strange. After all, they were close because they were their benefactors. But Shen Lin did not know that. When he saw how Sheng Xiao spoiled Mu Qiqi, he knew that he had found the wrong ally. It's not that I'm naughty. You know what happened in the Shen family recently. I just wanted to ask some questions. But the eldest brother of the Shen family stopped me. I just wanted to make everyone feel at ease. Second uncle and second aunt trust Yu Jing. But I don't. After all, I'm not their father. He has been lying in bed for more than 10 years. They don't hate each other. Seeing that, Grandpa Shen moved to let Sheng Xiao sit down. Then, Grandpa Shen said to Shen Lin, the reason why Qiqi could return to the Shen family was because Sheng Xiao saved her. The relationship between them is not something you can imagine. No wonder she is so arrogant. She has the support of the Crown Prince. I don't have time to support anyone. But I've met her today. So I'll support her for once. Sheng Xiao crossed his legs and answered Shen Lin lazily. It seems that you want to beat her up just now. If the Shen family doesn't want her, just give her to us. Why do you force yourself to accept her? Sheng Xiao, you don't know about Rong Junhan. Uncle Shen, who doesn't know that the marriage between the Rong family and the Shen family is ruined? Everyone knows that Rong Junhan has an illegitimate daughter. Even I could hear it. So it's not strange that Mu Qiqi would have questions. After all, the people outside are curious about it. Chapter 183. Mu Qiqi almost wanted to set off firecrackers for her man after she heard what Sheng Xiao said. What she said was quite powerful. She told Shen Lin that Rong Junhan had an illegitimate daughter who was Yu Jing. Moreover, she told him that everyone knew about it now. So it made sense for Mu Qiqi to question Yu Jing's identity. Mu Qiqi looked at Shen Lin. Her man was indeed a godly person. Sure enough, Shen Lin turned to look at his wife after he heard what Sheng Xiao said. Xiao Jing, no matter what, I believe that you are innocent. You should also tell everyone that you are innocent. I believe Xiao Jing. Huang Yu expressed her attitude at that moment. Xiao Jing, you should say it. Shen Jinyan played the role of the victim again. Because if both of them believed her, Yu Jing would definitely be suspicious. Yu Jing looked as if she had been wronged. She pouted and tried to hold back her tears. However, under everyone's pressure, she stood up and said, I really didn't know that my mother was still alive. I don't know anything. I don't have any motive. I only got together with Shen Lin because I love him. Alright. Since it's because of love, and your family is not short of money, will you agree if I ask you to sign a letter of guarantee? Mu Qiqi took the opportunity to suggest. I believe you when you say that you are not doing it for money. Since you have already said it, it's not a big deal to make a promise, right? Mu Qiqi, you are too much. It's my business if I want to give Xiao Jing money. Your business? Among the companies in your hands, which one of them wasn't funded by second uncle and second aunt? What ability do you have to give them? What right do you have to say that it's your business? Now that Rong Juanhan's case has happened, who can guarantee that Yu Jing is innocent? Yu Jing felt wronged as she listened to him. In the end, she burst into tears. You Shuns are such bullies. It's you and Rong Junhan who lied to us. I told you that I am not close to Rong Junhan. Yu Jing insisted. Why don't you believe me no matter what I say? Xiao Jing, calm down. Shen Lin quickly comforted his wife. Since the Shen family can't tolerate us, let's go. I'm leaving too. Huang Yu threw down her chopsticks and left the banquet hall with her son and daughter-in-law. After the three of them left, Mu Qiqi sat down and looked at second uncle. She said, now we can't be sure whether Yu Jing is really involved in this or not. But at least she won't dare to act rashly after what happened today. Second uncle, when you go home, you must pretend to quarrel with second aunt. Then brother Shen Lin will trust second aunt more. If he has any decision, he will tell second aunt directly. Qiqi, second uncle, thank you. Shen Jinyan said sincerely. You're willing to do such a thankless thing for a sinner like me. It's not just your family's business. It's also my father's business. I have a good reason to do this. After saying that, Mu Qiqi glanced at Sheng Xiao. But Sheng Xiao did not look at her. Perhaps he was afraid that Grandpa Shen would see through Mu Qiqi's feelings for him if they looked at each other. Moreover, I believe that Shen Lin will understand your good intentions in the end. Shen Jinyan picked up the wine glass and finished it in one gulp. He still looked worried. I hope so. Grandpa Shen glanced at Mu Qiqi and then looked at Sheng Xiao. Sheng Xiao, tell me honestly, did you teach this child a few tricks too? Sheng Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi and smiled. She's a good seedling. She can be trained well. You and Mu Qiqi are fated. You have to be a good uncle. That way, I won't have to worry about Mu Qiqi. Good uncle? Sheng Xiao snorted, but he did not refute him. He had already taught her on the bed. How could he be serious? It's just that once Xiao Qi is involved in this, she might suffer a lot in the future. What do you mean by that? Mu Qiqi pouted. Grandpa, brother Shen Lin can't win against me in an argument. Compared to Mu Tongxue, Yu Jing is much worse in pretending to be pitiful. Everyone can see that her acting skills are terrible. Brother Shen only trusts her because he likes her. But if you're afraid that I'll be beaten up, then you must send someone to protect me. You little girl. Grandpa Shen pointed at Mu Qiqi and smiled. Since the show has begun, let's work together and get over Rong Juanhan's hurdle. Everyone nodded. Then they started to eat as if nothing had happened. But after Grandpa Shen talked about the Shen family, he turned to Sheng Xiao and asked, Are you 27 this year? Uncle Shen, do you care about my age? I care that you should get married soon. Grandpa Shen sighed. Why haven't I heard anything about it? Why don't you find a woman to take care of you? Look at you. You can get any woman if you ask for it. I have a woman, Sheng Xiao replied calmly. Why don't you bring her to meet me? It's not the right time yet. Sheng Xiao smiled. I'm afraid she's a very good match for you, the crown prince. Sheng Xiao shrugged. He also felt that this person was a very good match. There were thousands of women in the world. But, why did he fall into the hands of such a little girl? He had racked his brains and resorted to all sorts of tricks, so that she could stay by his side in the future. Even now, he was paving the way for her to stay in the Shen family. Mu Qiqi couldn't help it. She reached her hand under the table and touched Sheng Xiao's knee. Sheng Xiao noticed it. He raised his eyebrows and looked at her. Do you want to die? The three of them left the private room and went to Yu Jing's house. They did not want to go back to the Shen family anymore. Shen Lin was furious. I really want to strangle that bitch. Shen Lin, why did we leave? We can't let this happen. If we leave, Mu Qiqi will be even more unscrupulous. What's worse is that your father doesn't trust his son and daughter-in-law. Instead, he trusts an outsider. Huang Yu's eyes turned red when she thought about it. Mother, you're right. We can't leave the Shen family just like that. Xiao Jing, you're the daughter-in-law of the Shen family. You can't be wronged for no reason. Let's go back. But I really don't want to be misunderstood by your family. Yu Jing burst into tears. I really have nothing to do with Rong Junhan. Don't worry. Didn't that woman ask you to sign a letter of guarantee? I will transfer the company to your name. I want to prove to the Shen family that you have nothing to do with Rong Junhan. You only married me because you love me. Chapter 184. Huang Yu secretly sent a message to the Shen family. Shen Jinyan could not help but sigh when he saw that Shen Lin wanted to transfer all the companies to Yu Jing. I really don't know what he has done. Everyone has a rebellious mentality. It's normal, second uncle. Mu Qiqi was waiting for the news in the Shen family. So she knew about Shen Lin's plan. If it doesn't work, I will give up those companies. Even if you don't want them, it doesn't mean that Rong Jinyun and Rong Jinyun will give up. Moreover, you have worked so hard to get those companies. Why do you let the swindlers get what they want? Mu Qiqi asked Shen Jinyun. We are injured both inside and outside. If you think like this, you will fall into Rong Junhan's trap. Because this is what she wants. Mu Qiqi comforted Shen Jinyun. Anyway, the situation can't get any worse. Why don't you relax? Anyway, you have already decided to give up the companies. Are you afraid that you can't solve this problem? What should we do now? I don't know much about the company. I think we can find the best lawyer. As for brother Shen Lin, we can ask second aunt to hold him back. Mu Qiqi told Shen Jinyan that he was a politician. So he had always let his son and Rong Junhan manage the company. So instead of worrying about it now, it was better for him to hire a lawyer and prepare for the worst. As for Mu Qiqi, she should go back home and consult the experts. What Qiqi said makes sense. Instead of sighing here, why don't we try our best to think of a countermeasure? How can the men of the Shen family be so easily defeated? Grandpa Shen also spoke up to calm his son. Don't be worse than your niece. Shen Jinyan nodded. Actually, he was worried that Shen Lin would be cheated. Money was just a worldly possession. Moreover, the money that he had invested over the years had already returned to him. However, he was unwilling to let others take advantage of him. Then Mu Qiqi went home. She texted Huang Yu on her way home. Second aunt, please be careful. Huang Yu had mixed feelings when she read the message. She treated Mu Qiqi so well in the past. But now Mu Qiqi was thinking about them. For a moment, Huang Yu felt that she was not a human. She was not only stupid but also blind. After that, Huang Yu went to rest. Now the three of them stayed at Yu Jing's house. Her father went out to sketch. Lying in the Yu family, she was really on tenterhooks. She was afraid that Shen Lin would really sell the company after Yu Jing's pillow talk tonight. When Mu Qiqi got home, she wrapped her arms around Sheng Zhao's neck and kissed his face. You arranged for us to appear in the hotel, didn't you? It wasn't a chance encounter. Sheng Zhao carried her to the study and put her on the sofa. You don't like me to appear? Of course I do. Mu Qiqi sat in his arms and gave him the answer. It's just that you've really become my little uncle now. What's the progress with the Shen family? Sheng Zhao changed the topic, so that she would not think too much. Shen Lin was so angry that he said he wanted to transfer the company to Yu Jing. Is there sh*t in his brain? Mu Qiqi could not help but complain. Does he really think that he has found his true love? Xiao, tell me, did I aggravate their conflict and cause the current situation? Don't worry. If you didn't aggravate them, second brother and his family would have been betrayed. They would have to pay for the betrayer. That would be really miserable. At least, it's not too late to make up for it. Then, Shen Lin wants to transfer the company. Even if he really wants to transfer everything to Yu Jing, he needs a lawyer. He needs to go through the procedures. It's not something that can be done in 1 or 2 days. Sheng Zhao patted her but to calm her down. It's not a problem at all. So, you still have time to change Shen Lin's mind. How did Yu Jing and Rong Junhan contact each other? If it's not a meeting, it must be a communication tool. If second aunt pays attention, She will definitely find out about it. Moreover, Shenlin is blinded by love now. I can't understand other things, but I can understand this. Mu Qiqi looked at Sheng Xiao deeply. It was because every time something like this happened, she would always think about herself. What would she do if she faced the same situation? You can understand. Isn't it normal for Shenlin to be cheated 8 to 10 times? Sheng Xiao snorted. Ugh, was this the contempt of a genius? Since Rong Junhan told you this news, it means that she is not afraid of your investigation. As long as Yu Jing insists that she doesn't know about it, Shenlin will have a reason to believe her and support her. Now the most important thing is to find out the evidence of them contacting each other. Otherwise, all of Rong Junhan's plans will succeed. She will alienate the Shen family and let her daughter get the company. Moreover, she will take revenge on the Shen family. What will you do if you are in her shoes? Sheng Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi playfully. What will you do if you are in Rong Junhan's shoes? Of course, I won't let you find any evidence. So, I will choose to cut off all contact with Yu Jing in a short period of time. But don't forget that there is another person in the middle. Sheng Xiao reminded Mu Qiqi. Yu Jing's father. Mu Qiqi immediately thought of him. If Yu Jing's father is their mouthpiece, Shenlin will not suspect anything. Second aunt said that Yu Jing's father has gone out to sketch. Sheng Xiao could not help but laugh when he heard that. Sketch? He's probably with Rong Junhan now. Can Jing Yin find their location? Do you think Jing Yin is a tracker or a hound? Sheng Xiao could not help but laugh. It's best to let the paparazzi do this kind of thing. To change Shenlin's mind, they must let him see Yu Jing's true colors. But now, he was completely immersed in his wife's tenderness. The whole family was worried about him. Grandpa Shen took some time to visit his eldest son. He told Shen Jianchuan about what happened in the Shen family. Now, Shen Jianchuan had recovered a little. He could speak more fluently. Father, why don't you let Shenlin learn his lesson? Grandpa Shen did not understand what Shen Jianchuan meant. Shenlin was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. His life has always been smooth sailing. He will grow up if he suffers a little. Otherwise, he will have a rebellious mentality no matter how you teach him. He will be just like me in the past. Do you want second brother to give the company to Rong Junhan? Grandpa Shen stared at him. Of course, I don't mean that, Shen Jianchuan laughed. All right, you're doing rehabilitation training now. You don't have to worry about this. You're just like Sheng Xiao. You look arrogant and despotic, but you're full of schemes. You just want to see Shenlin fall, right? You want to help your daughter, don't you? Chapter 185. To Shen Jinyan and Huang Yu. They did not want to see their son drift further away from them and be deceived by Yu Jing. But to Shenlin, the entire Shen family seemed to have been bewitched by Mu Qiqi. They were all against him and his delicate wife. So to show his support for his wife, he contacted the lawyer the next morning. He was really going to transfer the rest of the companies to Yu Jing. Huang Yu could not help but pull Shenlin aside when she saw her son making the call. She said, I don't mind if you want to support Xiao Jing, but if you give all of them to Xiao Jing, what will happen to us when we grow old? Xiao Jing will be filial to you, said Shenlin. I have discussed with Xiao Jing last night. Mom, don't worry. Xiao Jing will not mistreat you. We will be the same as before. Huang Yu shook her head. I just feel disappointed. You are willing to bet the rest of our lives for Xiao Jing. Mom, don't you believe in Xiao Jing? I believe her. But it is a fact that you are unfilial. After Huang Yu finished speaking, she retreated to the side. For a moment, she also wanted to give up on her son's matter. She didn't want to ask him if he was really cheated. However, if she really wanted to give these things to others, Huang Yu felt unwilling. Why should she? At that moment, Shenlin was a little hesitant. But he had already said it. He swore in his heart that he would take good care of his mother in the future. But he had never thought of leaving a guarantee for his parents. Yu Jing was really happy. She did not expect Shenlin to be so gullible. He was so loyal to her. If he was not a man from the Shen family, she would not be able to find a man like him. Mom, don't worry. I promise Shenlin that I will treat you like my own mother. So please believe me. Huang Yu could not look at Yu Jing. She turned around and went back to her room. As long as you are happy, let's wait for 2 more days. Xiao Jing, wait for the lawyer to finish all the paperwork. Then, I will tell the Shen family that you are the most important person to me. No one can bully you. Did Shen Lin really think that the Shen family would care if he gave the companies to Yu Jing? The Shens did not care about money. To Huang Yu and her husband, as long as it was not Rong Junhan, they could give it to anyone. They would even give it to a beggar. Huang Yu was very sad. So her son was actually like this. She had never realized it before. Did she spoil him too much? Then, Huang Yu sent the news to the Shen family. The Shen family was furious. They all told Huang Yu to go home. She didn't have to suffer this injustice. As for Jing Yin, he had arranged many paparazzi to follow Rong Junhan. Of course, they were all famous people in the industry. There would be news about them in less than a day. As expected, Jing Yin replied the next morning. I got something. Then he sent a photo to Rong Junhan. It showed that Rong Junhan and Mr. Yu had left the house at 3 o'clock in the morning. They went to a 24-hour shop to buy some daily necessities. Then they went back to the villa on the hillside. With these photos, even if they could not prove that Yu Jing and Rong Junhan were in contact, they could still prove that Yu Jing's father was in contact with Rong Junhan. It would be perfect if he could get more information from the Yu family's investigation. Jing Yin had put in a lot of effort, but he still needed time to get the result. Now that Mu Qiqi had the photos, she only needed to stop Shen Lin from signing the transfer agreement. Then, she would give him a severe blow to wake him up completely. But Shen Lin was afraid that the Shen family would stop him. So he decided to deal with this matter quickly, so that Yu Jing would not have any worries. After Huang Yu saw what he was doing, she couldn't stand it anymore. She grabbed Shen Lin and gave Yu Jing a tight slap. Are you going to see my son break up with me? Are you going to be happy? Mother? I didn't. Yu Jing covered her face. Her eyes were filled with tears. You didn't stop me? You just want the Shen family's assets, right? Mother, how could you do this to Xiao Jing? I insisted on giving the company to her. How dare you hit her? Shen Lin, your father and I have done our duty as parents to raise you up. But today, I don't want you as my son anymore. How could you give your parents' assets to a woman like her? What are we? Mother Xiao Jing. Don't tell me that she will be filial to me. Just wait and see. When she gets the company, she will dump you. Huang Yu said and turned around. Just pretend that I don't have you as my son. I am so sad. Shen Lin did not ask Huang Yu to stay. After all, he knew that his mother would not be angry at him. But it was a pity that Huang Yu was really angry this time. She went back to the Shen family and cried loudly in her husband's arms. She felt better when she saw Mu Qiqi at night. Mu Qiqi is my daughter from now on. I don't care about that bastard anymore. Second aunt, don't say that out of anger. I'm not saying that out of anger. Huang Yu snorted. If we can get those companies back, I will give them to Mu Qiqi. Are you serious? Grandpa Shen frowned and looked at her. I swear. I'm serious. Look at Mu Qiqi. She was bullied by me. But now, she is helping me. Her own son is so inhumane. Second aunt, don't worry. We will solve this problem soon. Because we have the photos of Yu Jing's father and Rong Junhan living together. In order to prevent any accidents, second uncle has asked Shen Lin's lawyer to come over today. He told the lawyer about the situation at home. The lawyer said that he is willing to help the Shen family to avoid being cheated. So, the contract will not take effect even if brother Shen Lin signs it tomorrow. Let's see how Yu Jing will react then. So you're saying that everything is ready? Huang Yu asked. Her eyes were filled with eagerness. She wanted to tear off Yu Jing's mask of hypocrisy. The plan to fight back is ready. But you must be prepared. You will lose your daughter-in-law. Humph. If Shen Lin learns a lesson from this, he will be lucky. But if he is still so stubborn, I can't do anything about it. Fortunately, Mu Qiqi suggested to ask the lawyer to help us. If he really helps us, we must repay him in the future, Shen Jinyun said. Let's watch the show tomorrow. Mu Qiqi went to the hospital to visit Shen Jianchuan after discussing with the others. She was happy to see her father recovering well. I believe that you will be able to get out of bed and walk soon. Chi-Chi, teach the bad guy a lesson. I will support you. Dad, actually I have done all these. It was all because she wanted to be with Xiao Xiao better. But she could not say it out loud at this moment. In her world, Sheng Xiao was everything. Chapter 186. They had to prepare a lot of documents to transfer the ownership of the company. If the lawyer was fast, he could prepare everything in a few days. Then, Shen Lin and Yu Jing would go to the bureau to change the legal person. Soon, those companies would no longer belong to the Shen family. Shen Lin was naive. He dared to transfer the company to Yu Jing because he believed that it was their joint property. Even if Yu Jing wanted to take it, she would not take all of it. But he did not know that Rong Junhan had already planned everything. She just needed to set up a trap to accuse him of having an affair. Then, she could ask him to leave the Shen family with nothing. If she did not have such a plan, how could she be considered as someone who had schemed against the Shen family for so many years? Now, the more the Shen family targeted Yu Jing, the more Shen Lin wanted to prove his determination. Even when Huang Yu left him, he still insisted on giving the company to her. He did not think about his parents at all, because he thought that his parents had worked so hard for their whole lives. So they should give him the company eventually. Otherwise, why did they work so hard? He thought that Shen Jinyan and Huang Yu were deceived by Mu Qiqi. So he wanted to settle the matter as soon as possible, because he was afraid that there would be more problems. But the Shen family did not appear in front of him when the lawyer was preparing the documents. It seemed that what Huang Yu said was true. Did they not want to acknowledge him as their son anymore? Yu Jing saw Shen Lin was silent. She was afraid that he would change his mind. So she tried to persuade him. Are you afraid that your parents will be angry? You're their baby. They won't be angry with you easily. But the Shen family did not do anything these few days. Maybe the elders of the Shen family are helping me. Yu Jing hugged Shen Lin's head and said, I will treat you better in the future. That's true. Grandpa has Mu Qiqi now. He won't care about me anymore. Thinking of this, Shen Lin put away his fear and became more determined. Xiao Jing, fortunately, we can go through with the procedures tomorrow. Silly girl. I love you no matter what. Love? Only Shen Lin believed that. The Shen family did not do anything. Although Rong Junhan was curious about it, she believed that the Shen family could not do anything about it anymore. So, she just let Shen Lin deal with it. Anyway, it was just a few companies. The second son, Shen Jinyan, did not rely on these few companies to make a living, but it was enough for his family. He knew that Yu Jing was her daughter, and that Yu Jing was lying to Shen Lin, but Shen Lin refused to believe it. This feeling was really worth celebrating with a glass of red wine. But she did not know that the Shen family had already made all the preparations to fight back. Tomorrow would be a good day to expose Yu Jing. The Shens knew that Shen Lin and Yu Jing would be going to the Bureau of Industry and Commerce to settle the paperwork tomorrow. Moreover, they had booked a VIP room. Therefore, Shen Jinyan and Huang Yu dressed up early in the morning. They wanted to give Shen Lin a surprise today. Mu Qiqi had told the two elders that they must go there 1 hour later than Shen Lin. She deliberately waited for them to finish the procedures. She must let Shen Lin and Yu Jing believe that what was done was done. There was no turning back. In this way, Yu Jing might give herself away. She might think that her plan had succeeded. She might not be willing to continue to lie to Shen Lin. Therefore, Shen Lin brought his lawyer and Yu Jing to the Bureau of Industry and Commerce. Everything went smoothly. He did not know that the staff at the Bureau of Industry and Commerce was actually entrusted by the Shens. Although Shen Lin and Yu Jing had submitted the documents and signed the documents, the staff did not accept them. Because the Shens told the staff at the Bureau of Industry and Commerce that they might be involved in fraud, the staff arranged this show. According to the procedure, the legal person would be changed within 5 to 10 working days. Then, a new legal person's license would be issued. But in Yu Jing's heart, at this point, the Shen family could no longer be changed. Especially when they saw Huang Yu and Shen Jinyan at the lobby of the Bureau of Industry and Commerce when they were about to leave. Shen Lin's expression changed. It was because he saw Huang Yu covering her face and crying. She immediately rushed over and grabbed her son's arms, saying, "Are you done? Did you really give the company to this bitch?" "Mom, she's my wife. I won't allow you to say that about her. Are you still protecting her?" Huang Yu said. Then she took out some photos from her bag and threw them to Shenlin. "Look at them yourself." Shenlin took the photos and flipped through them. Then, he saw that Rong Junhan was living with his father-in-law, but he still sided with Yu Jing. So he raised the photos and said to Huang Yu, "What does this mean? Mom, aren't you making a big deal out of this?" After Shenlin said that, Shen Jinyan had already slapped him. "Wake up. How can Yu Jing not know that Rong Junhan is living with this Yu family man? You just don't want to believe that this family is a liar, right?" "Dad." Shenlin was shocked, because he had never been slapped by his father before. "Yu Jing, do you really not know?" Shen Jinyan did not want to talk to his son anymore. Instead, he looked at Yu Jing and asked. But Yu Jing never thought that her parents would be secretly photographed. So, she did not know how to answer. "Do you dare to say that you don't know?" When Yu Jing wanted to say something, she received a message from her phone. Yu Jing panicked. She wanted everyone to ignore it. But Huang Yu grabbed her handbag and took out her phone. Then she saw the message from Papa Yu. "Is the transfer of the company done?" Huang Yu showed it to Shenlin when she saw the message. "It seems that your father is very concerned about the transfer of the company." Papa Yu never liked to ask about this kind of thing. He was obsessed with his paintings. But he sent a message at this time. Shenlin finally looked at Yu Jing suspiciously. "Xiao Jing, what's going on?" "I'm just concerned about you. Your father doesn't even care about our marriage. Why is he concerned about the transfer of the company?" Shenlin asked. "You said that you will always believe in me." Yu Jing knew that she could not explain it. So, she could only play the emotional card. "How would I know why my father sent me such a message? I really don't know." At that moment, Papa Yu sent another message. "Let us know when the transfer of the company is done." This time, Shenlin saw it with his own eyes. "Us? Which us?" Yu Jing frowned. She did not expect that things would turn out this way. Anyway, she could not hide it anymore. So she did not bother to serve this family anymore. "You are so rude. My phone is such a private thing. How can you touch it?" Shenlin was shocked when he heard what Yu Jing said. He looked at Yu Jing in disbelief. "What did you say?" Chapter 187. Xiao Jing. Your parents are right. My mother and I have been in cahoots for a long time. My mother was the one who arranged for me to meet you for the first time. Otherwise, do you think that there are so many coincidences in this world? Do you think that we can meet each other every day? Yu Jing kept the things. She smiled when she saw that Huang Yu was going to eat her alive. "I'm warning you. This is a public place. If you dare to hurt me here, I will definitely call the police." Shenlin had never thought that a person could turn into a complete stranger in the blink of an eye. "You admit it?" Huang Yu asked angrily. "Yes, I admit it. But what can you do to me? The procedures have been completed. The Industrial and Commercial Bureau has accepted the case. Everything has gone through the legal process. Do you still want to change it?" "We don't need you anymore, Shenlin." After that, Yu Jing wanted to leave quickly. However, Shenlin stopped her. "Xiao Jing, did you say that because you were forced to do so?" Yu Jing was impatient. She shook off Shenlin's hand and stared at him angrily. "Are you an idiot? Shenlin, do you know how stupid you are? Do you know how stupid you are in bed? You don't know. You only know how to ask for things from your parents. Yes, you are infatuated and you treat me very well. But think about it yourself. What part of you is worthy of being liked by others from the beginning to the end? You are impatient. You have no achievements. You don't have any skills. You rely on your family background to show off. You have never spent a single cent on your company. So, I don't feel guilty at all for lying to you. Are you even a man?" Shenlin was dumbfounded. Yu Jing had said that he wasn't a man in front of so many people. She had even told everyone about their sexual intercourse. Men could not stand to be questioned about their ability in bed. However, the people around them looked at him as if they were watching a joke. Just wait for the divorce. Yu Jing sneered when she saw that Shen Lin was dumbfounded. She glanced at Huang Yu and her husband before she turned around and continued walking. This whole family is a bunch of fools. They are hopeless. Shen Lin was embarrassed. He then thought of canceling the procedures to change the legal person. However, the staff at the information desk told him, the cases that have been accepted cannot be cancelled. If you regret, you can negotiate with the other party. You can also file a lawsuit in court after the case is over. This is mine. I said I won't give it to you. Why can't I? Shen Lin widened his eyes and shook the little girl at the information desk. This is the rule. Otherwise, do you think this is a market? You'll change as soon as you say so. Shen Lin was devastated. He still wanted to chase after Yu Jing, but Yu Jing was nowhere to be found. Who asked him to write Yu Jing's name when he bought a car? No, this was a dream. Otherwise, how could a person change so quickly? Shen Lin still couldn't believe it. He wanted to chase after Yu Jing, but Shen Jingyun stopped him. He slapped Shen Lin's face 3 times. Are you awake? Haven't you embarrassed yourself enough? Shen Lin's head was buzzing. He really didn't expect that he would be cheated. He was so confident, so trusting of Yu Jing, and so devoted to her. Yet, Yu Jing said that he wasn't a man? Shen Lin knelt on the ground in front of his parents. At this moment his whole life collapsed. Didn't you trust that woman? Didn't you want to give everything you have to someone else? Are you okay now? Shen Lin was in a daze. He hugged Huang Yu's right leg. Apart from disbelief, there were only tears in his eyes. Shen Jingyun didn't want to be embarrassed anymore. He immediately said to Huang Yu, bring this bastard back first. He doesn't want us anymore. Why should I care about him? Huang Yu pretended to be cruel. Mom, I didn't do it on purpose. I really didn't do it on purpose. Fortunately, everything was in time. Otherwise, the mother and daughter from the Rong family would be very proud of themselves. She looked at Shen Lin. Although Yu Jing was despicable, what she said about her son was true. Huang Yu was reflecting on herself. Of course, the 3 of them did not stay in the living room for long. Soon, they returned to the Shen family. After they entered the house, Shen Lin knelt in front of Grandpa Shen willingly. Grandpa! Grandpa Shen glanced at him and drank his tea leisurely. Why? You were not like this when you left the Shen family. Grandpa, I'm wrong. I'm really wrong. How could I trust a vicious woman so much? Shen Lin confessed and slapped himself. I'm so wrong. It's meaningless for you to apologize to me. You should apologize to your parents. You've hurt your mother's heart. Shen Lin turned around and looked at Huang Yu. However, Huang Yu was unwilling to look at him. Just take it that I've raised an ingrate. Mom, please forgive me. I'm too stupid. I can't see a person clearly. Huang Yu felt sorry for her son. However, she listened to Muqiqi. She must hold it in and not give Shen Lin any chance. So, she decided not to look at her son. She said to Grandpa Shen, Dad, I'm going back to my room. Go ahead. Grandpa Shen nodded. Mom! Shen Lin, you must be clear. We used to give you the things that your father and I fought for. But now we can't do that. Don't even think about using our money. You can do whatever you want. You have to earn your own money. We've spent so much effort to raise you. But what about you? You're relying on someone else. From now on, we'll draw a clear line. Whenever you want to rely on the Shen family, you'll be borrowing it. You must return it. After that, Huang Yu left without looking back. Shen Lin had no sense of boundaries, so he felt that it was natural for him to rely on his parents. However, Muqiqi wanted Huang Yu to teach Shen Lin about that. He did not have the right to use his parents' things without their consent, because it was the most basic morality of a person. Shen Lin lowered his head and cried in regret. But no one was watching his performance. Grandpa Shen snorted coldly. Then, he went to his fish pond and continued his leisurely life. So, Shen Lin knelt in the living room of the Shen family. He felt better doing that. He was punishing himself. Meanwhile, Huang Yu went back to the bureau. She wanted to confirm that Shen Lin's change of legal person was invalid. After getting the answer, Huang Yu felt relieved. She called Muqiqi. Qiqi, Everything went well. Hee. When the Rong family knows about this, their expressions will be very interesting. I can already imagine it. Mu Chichi said mischievously. Chapter 188. Huang Yu came back and saw Shenlin still kneeling in the living room. She looked at his back and felt sorry for him. So, she walked to him and said, "Maybe it's because of our genes. That's why we can't see clearly." Shenlin did not say anything. "It's meaningless for you to kneel here. Go back to your room." Shenlin did not move. Huang Yu took a deep breath and did not try to persuade him anymore. She went back to her room. Although Rong Junhan was hateful, she had always supported Rong Junhan the most. So at the end of the day, she was no better than her son. "How's the Industrial and Commercial Bureau?" Huang Yu answered quickly when she heard her husband's question. "Don't worry. The Industrial and Commercial Bureau did not accept it." Shen Jinyun nodded. "We're lucky this time. If Mu Chichi did not help us, things would not have gone so smoothly. We owe her a thank you and an apology." Huang Yu knew it too. She sighed in her heart. No wonder Grandpa Shen dotes on Mu Chichi. She deserves it. Look at our unfilial son. Forget it. Let's wait and see Rong Junhan's ugly face. She lied to us for so many years. I really want to skin her alive. No matter if Huang Yu dared to skin Rong Junhan or not, she would definitely skin Mu Chichi alive. She made her father lie in bed for so many years. She must get revenge on Shen Jianchuan no matter what. At night, when Sheng Xiao returned home, he saw Mu Chichi throwing herself at him. He quickly caught the little one, held her little round, and brought her into the living room. "Why are you so passionate?" Rong Junhan and her daughter were fooled, Mu Chichi said to Sheng Xiao proudly. Sheng Xiao smiled and put her on the sofa. Then, he took off his dark blue suit jacket and sat beside her. "Now I think Chi'er can do whatever she wants to them. If it's possible, I want her to lie in bed for 8 to 10 years. As for Yu Jing, I heard that she was just like Qianqian's mistress, by Xinlan, when she was at the Bureau of Industry and Commerce. She lied to the other party, and still thought that she was helping the people. Why are these people's views so strange?" The biggest reason why Sheng Xiao loved Mu Chichi was that no matter what Mu Chichi went through, she could always remain true to herself. Never distort yourself. Now that he saw Mu Chichi in high spirits, he could not help but hug his woman and said, "Perhaps your wish can come true. Turn her into a vegetable?" Sheng Xiao laughed and stroked Mu Chichi's hair. "Don't you mind getting your hands dirty? There's another way." "Xiao Xiao, I was just joking. Don't take it seriously." She and Rong Junhan were not the same kind of people. "Idiot." Sheng Xiao held the little one in his arms and deeply inhaled her scent. However, he smelled something strange. "Why is it so smelly?" I'm going to observe the anatomy class." Then she looked up and asked, "There will be rotten limbs, organs, maggots in the future. Will you despise me?" "I'll catch you and wash you 10 times a day." Sheng Xiao was a bit of a neat freak, but it varied from person to person. If Mu Chichi smelled bad because of the autopsy, he would not have despised her at all. In fact, he would have felt a little proud. "Look, she's my woman. When your daughter, the rich lady, is shopping, she is doing things that men may not be able to do. Serving society. That was the ultimate value of human existence." Mu Chichi smiled brightly, because she knew that even if everyone despised her in this world, Sheng Xiao would not. Because he was a man who truly understood life and had a broad vision. As she watched, Mu Chichi couldn't help but lean forward and give him a kiss. That kiss made Sheng Xiao pull her onto his body and straddle her. Soon, they were not satisfied with just kissing. Sheng Xiao's eyes darkened with desire. He wanted to bring Mu Chichi back to the bedroom, but Mu Chichi held him down and said, "Right here, Sheng Xiao's voice was hot. It was even a little scorching. "I said right here." It was easy to take off the skirt and the underwear. Everything happened in a split second. But Sheng Xiao did not move. He was restraining his desire. "Go up and get the condom." "Okay." Mu Chichi nodded. She would not do it easily. Sheng Xiao had told her more than once that she should not let any accidents happen until the right time. because abortion was too harmful to the body. So, they ended it in the bedroom, even though it started in the living room. Because Sheng Xiao had strong self-control. If a man truly loved a woman, he would think of everything for her. He would not let her get hurt at all. At that moment, Rong Junhan and Yu Jing were having a celebration dinner at home. It was Rong Junhan and Yu Jing's proudest achievement that they managed to get Shen Jinyun's companies. Cheers! Cheers! The three of them were proud of themselves, especially Yu Jing. Mom, can we carry out our new plan now? Let Shenlin leave the family with nothing. Did you take any pictures when you were abroad? Did you do what I asked you to do? Of course. Yu Jing took out her phone and smiled happily. I invited a few foreign women to lie beside him naked. He even hugged one of them and slept with her for the whole night. Did they have sex? I've drugged him so strongly. Of course it happened. The evidence is in my phone. After saying that, Yu Jing put her phone back to where it was. Well done. It would be perfect if this foreign woman could get pregnant. But it was a pity that the mother and daughter had made their plans too early. A few days later, when Yu Jing called the Bureau of Industry and Commerce to ask why the new license had not been issued, she would know that the Shen family's company was not something that she could take over as she pleased. At that time, her expression would be interesting. It was late at night. Shen Lin was still kneeling in the living room. Grandpa Shen could not stand it anymore. He walked to his grandson and pulled him up. Then he put him on the chair. I'm a man of the Shen family. Just admit your mistake. I've forgiven your eldest uncle, even though he had done so many bad things in the past. Are you a sore loser? Shen Lin raised his head and looked at Grandpa Shen. His throat felt hot. Grandpa, what else can I do? Chapter 189. But Grandpa, what will happen after that? Shen Lin's tears flowed down from the corner of his eyes. Yu Jing said that I'm a useless person. She looks down on me. Actually, I look down on myself too. If you really want to train yourself, go and join the army. Grandpa Shen patted Shen Lin's shoulder and said, show me that you can become a good man. All right. Shen Lin nodded. Grandpa Shen's words had helped him find a new direction. Also, the company is still in your hands. Rong and her daughter did not succeed at all. What? Shen Lin was confused. He opened his eyes wide and looked at Grandpa Shen. But, Grandpa Shen smiled and explained, it's Chi-Chi. She made the arrangements in advance. She colluded with the people from the Industry and Commerce Bureau and lied to Yu Jing. Actually, your application to change the legal person was not accepted. You misunderstood Chi-Chi. Apologize to her later. Why did she help you so much? Shen Lin's tears flowed down even more when he heard that. Chi-Chi is only 18. Yes, she could come up with such an idea at 18. What about you? Shen Lin wiped his tears and mustered up his courage again. Grandpa, don't worry. I've disappointed you in the past. I won't do it again. Grandpa Shen nodded and comforted him. Go to sleep. It's not too late to make amends. So the next morning, Shen Lin and Huang Yu went to the Industry and Commerce Bureau again to change the legal person. This time, he was very serious and did not hesitate. Mom, you're right. I've relied on the Shen family for everything for so many years. I've done a lot of things to let you down. From now on, I'll rely on my own ability and be filial to you. For Huang Yu to be able to see this scene, she was already very gratified. As long as you're sensible. Mom, come with me to the police station again. Huang Yu nodded and accompanied Shen Lin to the police station to report the case. She told the police everything. The police gave Shen Lin a suggestion based on his situation. Fortunately, your family is smart. They prevented you from losing any assets. But because of your situation, the police can only mediate between the two of you and help you get a divorce. Can't she be sentenced? The police shook their heads. The law in this country is not perfect yet, so it's hard to hold her responsible. No matter what, calling the police is always the smartest thing to do. Shen Lin was very disappointed. He really hoped that the mother and daughter would receive the punishment they deserved. After all, they had cheated him of his feelings. Would it end just like that? Huang Yu saw his unwillingness and quickly said to him, There's no hurry. Let's go back and discuss. We'll definitely send that mother and daughter to the 18th level of hell. Mom, after a few days when I'm better, can you invite Chi-Chi over? I would like to sincerely apologize. Seeing that her son was really sensible, Huang Yu smiled and said, Okay, Mom will help you. Also, after this matter is settled, I want to join the army while I'm still young. Mom supports you too. This was because Huang Yu knew very well that Shen Lin could only gain a strong willpower by going to the army. Only then would he be able to forget his sorrows faster. For the next few days, Shen Lin was adjusting his condition. Huang Yu also called Mu Chi-Chi and asked her to have dinner at Shin Mansion on Friday. Thinking about what happened to Shen Lin, Mu Chi-Chi could not blame him for his arrogant attitude. So, she agreed to Huang Yu's request. As for the police, they were still investigating the matter. Moreover, they could not contact Yu Jing, so they could not find her. However, Yu Jing was very concerned about the new legal person license. When the 5 working days were up, she immediately called the Bureau of Industry and Commerce to ask if the license was ready. But the Bureau of Industry and Commerce could not find any information about her. I'm sorry, Miss Yu. The computer does not have the information you provided. It's impossible. My husband and I came to the Bureau of Industry and Commerce to complete the transfer 5 days ago. I've checked several times. It's really not available. I'm sorry. You can ask your husband. What's with your attitude? Be careful, or I'll file a complaint against you. If you can't find anything, then you can. Feel free to file a complaint. After that, the person hung up the phone. Yu Jing did not give up. She called again. But the person who answered the phone still gave the same answer. Yu Jing panicked. She called Rong Junhan immediately. When Rong Junhan knew about it, she brought Yu Jing to the Bureau of Industry and Commerce personally. But not to mention the documents, even the staff who handled the registration that day was gone. The people in the Bureau of Industry and Commerce looked at the mother and daughter strangely. Yu Jing finally felt that something was wrong. She said to Rong Junhan angrily, Mom, it's a scam. Are you saying that we've been deceived by the Shin family? It's possible. Otherwise, how can we explain this? Rong Junhan thought for a while and nodded. Bring your video. Let's go to the Shin family. The mother and daughter were very angry. How could they forget that they were liars? They even wanted to go to the Shen family and cause trouble. Yu Jing called Shen Lin first. But Shen Lin had already changed his number. Bastard. How dare you do this to me? Let's go to the Shen family directly. Rong Junhan was quite arrogant. Because Yu Jing still had the evidence of Shen Lin's trouble. Even if they were going to divorce in the future, she was confident that she could make Shen Lin leave the Shen family with nothing. So Shen Lin's company would still be given to Yu Jing. But she did not expect that Shen Lin would transfer the company to Shen Jinyan the next day. In other words, Shen Lin was just a poor man now. The Shen family did not expect that the mother and daughter from the Rong family would be so shameless. How dare they come to the Shen family? Huang Yu was the first to tremble in anger. But Grandpa Shen was very calm. He immediately called Xiao Qi and asked her to go to the Shen family, since she had no classes in the afternoon. Then the Shen family did not let the mother and daughter from the Rong family enter the house immediately. They asked them to wait outside the door. After a while they let them in. Rong Junhan knew that the Shen family liked this kind of trick. So she smiled when she saw the Shen family. I never expected that you're so stingy. Your son said that he would give the company to my daughter. But why do you have to put on a show in front of us when it's time to transfer the company? I'm giving you a taste of your own medicine. So you and your daughter are allowed to lie to us? Grandpa Shen snorted. You've been humiliated in the Industrial and Commercial Bureau, haven't you? My meticulous plan was guarded against by all of you. It can be said that the Shen family is very powerful. But can you make a guess? What else can my daughter use to blackmail Shen Lin? Rong Junhan sat down on the chair elegantly. Her demeanor made people want to slap her face. I think you've come up with a new trick after you failed to cheat the company. It was Mu Chi-Chi who said that. It was because Shengting University was not far from the Shen family. So Mu Chi-Chi came in time to watch the show. Whether it's a new trick or not, we'll know after we watch the video. Then, Rong Junhan took out her phone. But Mu Qiqi stopped her from taking it back. Madam Rong, please listen to me before you play the video. You have to think carefully. The person you are trying to blackmail is penniless. Rong Junhan looked at Mu Qiqi. Chapter 190. The company is still here. Who are you trying to fool? Company? Are you still thinking about other people's company? Of course, they have changed the legal person. Are they waiting for you to snatch it? Mu Qiqi walked in front of everyone and smiled at Rong Junhan calmly. I have changed the legal person to me. You can come and ask me for it if you are capable. You. Rong Junhan almost lost control of her emotions when she heard that. But she smiled when she thought about it. So what's the difference between you and me? Aren't we doing this for the Shen family's things? I'm sorry. There is still a difference. If I ask, second uncle and second aunt will definitely give it to me. Am I right? Second uncle and second aunt? Of course. Qiqi, you are a member of the Shen family. You are different from those bitches outside. What belongs to second uncle and second aunt is also yours. Wang Yu immediately added. Moreover, you don't need it at all. You have the Sheng family behind you. Even if you want the stars in the sky, there will be people who will give it to you. You are not like some people who have been plotting for more than 10 years. After Huang Yu said that, Mu Qiqi looked at Rong Junhan again. But this time, her gaze was sharper. She was not like an 18-year-old girl at all. So, do you still want to expose the things in your phone? Let me remind you that you and Yu Jing can never take a single cent from the Shen family. Rong Junhan's face darkened. Because Shen Lin was poor now. But, even if she could not get anything from Shen Lin, she could still blackmail Huang Yu and her husband. Rong Junhan calmed down when she thought about that. You can take away Shen Lin's company. But you don't even want your son's reputation? The video in my hand can prove that Shen Lin cheated after his marriage. He slept with another woman outside. If this video is spread out, will the Shen family still have any dignity? But Rong Junhan's words did not scare Mu Qiqi. Shen Lin loves Yu Jing so much. How could he cheat on her? If you can really take a video, then it must be Yu Jing who set you up. You mother and daughter. One of you hit my father with a car and caused him to be in a vegetative state. The other one cheated Shen Lin into a marriage and caused him to be hurt physically and mentally. What you have done are all dishonest things. Take the video and spread it. Let's see if anyone will still believe you. Do you want me to be a good person to the end and help you? Mu Qiqi, you're really eloquent. Rong Junhan did not have the strength to defend herself. She could only pretend to scoff coldly. Oh yes, Shen Lin had reported to the police a few days ago. Don't you know that the police are looking for you? Yu Jing, you said that Shen Lin is worthless in your eyes. He's not even a man. In my eyes, you're not even human if you lie to such a man. Yu Jing's face darkened. Mu Qiqi, I know I can't win you in an argument, but don't be so arrogant. I'm arrogant. What can you do to me? After all, I'm the real granddaughter of the Shen family, and I have the Sheng family behind me. Can you afford to offend me? Who are you? Illegitimate daughter? Bastard? Liar? Or a slut? You. Seeing that both mother and daughter were speechless, Mu Qiqi laughed even more happily. She turned to look at Grandpa Sheng. Grandpa, you've seen enough, haven't you? Hurry up. Ask your old friends to come out and settle your grandson's matter. Can you bear to see this shameless mother and daughter riding on your grandson's head? You silly girl. I've already sent someone to investigate this matter. If this mother and daughter have any criminal records, they'll be found out. Moreover, I know how Yu Jing's father, the painter, has been hyping up his paintings all these years, and how he played tricks. Rong Junhan's face suddenly turned pale when she mentioned the criminal records. Of course, Yu Jing was not any better. Both mother and daughter had done some things that were out of line. If they were found out, the consequences would be unimaginable. I really did not expect that the Shen family is not only ungrateful, but also distort the truth. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Xiao Jing, let's go. Rong Junhan stood up and wanted to leave, but her unusual action reminded Mu Qiqi. Grandpa, investigate further. Do your best. You bad thing. The old man pointed at Mu Chichi and laughed out loud. Are you in a hurry to leave? Don't you want to play the video anymore? Don't you want to blackmail me? You're crazy. I don't want to talk to you. Then, Rong Junhan left with Yu Jing. However, when the two of them walked out of the Shun family's gate, Mu Chichi said, Yu Jing, I hate it when people cheat their feelings and think that they are so great. Today, you hurt the person who loves you the most in the world. You will regret it if you miss him. It's the saddest thing to pay for a relationship. You can imagine what will happen to you. Yu Jing turned and looked at Mu Chichi. Then, Rong Junhan dragged her out of the Shun family. Obviously, Rong Junhan and her daughter had made a wasted trip. Not only did they make a wasted trip, but they also lost all their bargaining chips. Now it was impossible for them to threaten the Shin family and get any benefits from them. They might even threaten their own interests. Because soon, the police contacted Yu Jing again. I didn't expect that bastard Shin Lin would really call the police. Don't worry. No one will dare to do anything to you. Just go. Rong Junhan was trembling with anger. It's all because of that bitch Mu Chichi. If not, we would have gotten the Shun family's company. Rong Junhan almost broke the wooden table in front of her. She was so angry. Now the Shun family had the upper hand. She had no chance to fight back. What was more terrible was yet to come. But she could not imagine it. Was Shen Jianchuan so easy to bully? Although he had been lying in bed for more than 10 years, he had already woken up. This debt, as well as the debt of causing Su Ziqing to misunderstand him in the past, was he not going to settle it with her? Although Shen Lin was not smart enough to plot against Yu Jing, Mu Chichi was smart enough. And Sheng Xiao, who was behind Mu Chichi, was even more outrageous. He could trample on that bitch anytime. Seeing Rong Junhan and her daughter leaving in defeat, Huang Yu felt very happy. Dad Chichi, I've never seen Rong Junhan leave like that. It's so satisfying. You've even shown the video. It seems that Rong Junhan has no other trump card. Mu Chichi walked to Grandpa Shun and sat beside him. Grandpa, we should strike while the iron is hot. It's not easy to find anything wrong with Rong Junhan and her daughter. So, we can start from Yu Jing's father. Chapter 191. Grandpa Shun tilted his head and looked at Mu Chichi. Who taught you all these? What's wrong with me? Mu Chichi purposely avoided Grandpa Shun's question. If it's not because of your father or Sheng Xiao, he's a vicious and evil person. Grandpa Shun pointed at Mu Chichi and scolded her. I'm influenced by what I see and hear. Jing Yin would sometimes tell me about Sheng. That's why I could more or less learn from him. Mu Chichi really could not bring herself to call him Uncle Sheng, and so simply skipped it. Father, what's wrong with being like Mu Chichi? She's smart. She won't suffer. It's bad for us, Huang Yu said. Then she turned to Mu Chichi. She looked guilty and grateful at the same time. Chichi, it's all my fault in the past. I apologize to you. I hope you won't hold a grudge against me. Forget it. Although I'm not a generous person, you're not evil. You're just deceived by others. Shen Lin wanted to apologize to you a long time ago. I'll go and find him now. Then, Huang Yu went to Shen Lin's room. But Mu Chichi pouted. Grandpa, I still have classes. I'll go back to school first. I might not accept his apology. Actually, Shen Lin was hiding in the dark. He was already there when Rong Junhan entered the Shen family. He was upset when he saw Mu Chichi defeating Rong Junhan like a god of war, because he knew that he was not as good as an 18-year-old girl. So, he did not dare to show up in front of Mu Chichi. Then he hired a lawyer to prepare the divorce agreement. Then he asked Yu Jing for compensation. He wanted Yu Jing to compensate him for his emotional loss. Even Mu Chichi knew that she could not give in to her family. How could he continue to be a coward? The lawyer arrived at the Yu family the next day. He told Yu Jing about Shen Lin's request. Yu Jing jumped up from her chair after she heard it. Is he crazy? I haven't asked him to compensate me for the loss of my youth. Miss Yu, it depends on the judge's judgment. If it's true, Mr. Shen Lin has the right to ask you for compensation. Get lost. Then miss you will see each other in court. That was when Mu Qiqi heard about the interesting matter in the afternoon. She sighed in her heart. Shenlin finally knew how to fight back. Perhaps he was the same as her in the past. As long as he took this step, he would have a brand new life. 2 days later, Rong Juanhan's dance school was smashed. No one knew exactly why and who did it. Many people guessed that it was the Shen family or Shenlin. But Mu Qiqi knew that if Shenlin was capable, he would not have endured until now. That was why she told Sheng Xiao about her doubts when she got home, hoping that he could clear them up. Sheng Xiao merely smiled at that. Don't you have a suitable candidate in mind? It's not Grandpa or Shenlin. Second uncle and second aunt wouldn't do such a thing. Third uncle and third aunt have nothing to do with this. So could it be him? Mu Qiqi counted with her fingers and asked Sheng Xiao for an answer. You already have the answer. Why are you asking me? Sheng Xiao asked her playfully. Don't you know that he used to be a vengeful person? Mu Qiqi felt that it made sense and nodded. But he can't even say a complete sentence now. That's not important, as long as there's money. Rong Junhan owed Shen Jianchuan so much. If he did not seize the chance to get her back, he would feel sorry for himself. If that's the case, then my dad is too cool. Compared to me. Of course you're cooler. After all, he is an old man. Mu Qiqi sat on Sheng Xiao's lap. Xiao Xiao, are you jealous? Sheng Xiao was absent-minded for a moment as he held Mu Qiqi's butt. Then he answered her seriously. It's because your father is smart that he understood you so easily. And it's also because he's smart that I'm afraid we won't be able to keep our relationship a secret after he recovers. What kind of result do you want? Mu Qiqi asked Sheng Xiao because she did not know what she needed to do. She did not know how high the standards of the Sheng family were. Moreover, she did not know whether Shen Jianchuan would agree or disagree. Sheng Xiao remained silent for a few seconds. Then he carried Mu Qiqi. I'm not worried that your father will disagree. I'm worried that he will challenge me. Are you afraid of him? Sheng Xiao laughed and touched Mu Qiqi's nose. You're right. He is an old man after all. Shen Jianchuan was obviously a slave to his daughter. But he did not have a bottom line. After all, Sheng Xiao and Mu Qiqi were in different generations. Moreover, Shen Jianchuan knew what kind of place the Sheng family was. He wanted his daughter to be free. Of course, he had to find out about it first. Sheng Xiao and Mu Qiqi guessed that the person was Shen Jianchuan. Destroying Rong Juanhan's dance school was just the first step. The painter named Yu was just fishing for fame. He did not have any real talent at all. All his fame came from Rong Juanhan's money. So it would be easy to destroy him. So it was just a piece of cake. Although Shen Jianchuan was lying on the bed all day, the nurses told him all the gossip. Moreover, Grandpa Shen investigated them. So, Shen Jianchuan could find a way to deal with them. Grandpa Shen also guessed that it was his eldest brother. So he pretended to ask him when the Shens were not around. Did you ask someone to destroy the school? I can't move at all now. Are you lying to me? You still have your friends. What can't you do as long as you can get in touch with them? Grandpa Shen winked at him. Why haven't you changed after so many years? Shen Jianchuan did not deny it. There was nothing to hide in front of his father. He could only answer Grandpa Shen slowly. I have been sick for more than 10 years. I have lost more than 10 years of youth. Let alone destroying a school, this is just the beginning. Rong Junhan owes me. She must pay me back. Grandpa Shen nodded. Qiqi and I will not care about your revenge. Don't drag your daughter into this. I won't let Qiqi know. How can Qiqi not know? That girl is just like you. She is very smart. Grandpa Shen snorted. But there was a hint of satisfaction in his snort. She must be smart. Otherwise, she would be bullied. Rong Junhan was the most furious one now. Her years of hard work had been destroyed. She did not know how much she would lose. She guessed that it was the Shen family. But she could not guess which Shen it was. The most likely one was Mu Qiqi. But she felt that it was not Mu Qiqi's style. It was like Shen Jianchuan in his early years. Chapter 192. Not only Rong Juanhan's dance school, but Papa Yu's art gallery was also affected. The news of Yu Jing's deceitful marriage was plastered all over the Yu family's house. It made people understand why Rong Juanhan's dance school was destroyed and Papa Yu's art gallery was destroyed. It was all because Yu Jing cheated people's feelings and money. Rong Juanhan and her family were very angry, but they could not find out who did it. They did not know what kind of tricks they had up their sleeves. Yu Jing had to wear a hat and a mask when she went out these 2 days, because the people around her were all pointing at her and avoiding her. Look, it's that bad, Auntie. We are not going to school here today. It's that little B***tch again. I heard that she cheated a rich young master and made him bankrupt. He will go to hell after he dies. How could she cheat money with that kind of looks? That rich young master is so gullible. Not only that, the Yu family's house was splashed with dog's blood recently. People even wrote B***tch on the wall of the house. What was worse was that people even smashed the glass with stones. Yu Jing could not bear it anymore. Shen Lin is such a coward. How dare he let the Shuns treat me like this? He even said that he will love me for the rest of his life. I haven't divorced that bastard yet. Aren't they afraid of being struck by lightning for doing this? Seeing that Yu Jing was so angry, Rong Juanhan quickly went to her and sat down beside her. She tried to calm her down. Our plan failed this time. We have lost everything. Xiao Jing, you should find a good family as soon as possible and make plans for your future. What plans do I have? If I see a good man, I will go after him. Yu Jing did not care. She was very confident that she could flirt with men. Last night, I saw a handsome man in a nightclub. Girls should not go to that kind of place, Rong Juanhan said unhappily. Mom, I restrained myself in order to play the role of a good wife to Shen Lin, right? What happened in the end? I did not get anything. So why should I restrain myself? Yu Jing continued to be confident. Anyway, even if Shen Lin was gone, there was still a big world with millions of men. Rong Juanhan could not control her. She could only let her be. That night, Yu Jing went to the nightclub she went to last night. She wanted to meet the handsome man from before. She had to admit that she was really lucky. She managed to hook such a handsome mixed-race man. The two of them flirted with each other. Yu Jing drank a lot of alcohol. When she woke up the next day, there were 4 or 5 men sleeping beside her. They were all naked. She had no idea that this matter had been deliberately arranged by someone to return an eye for an eye. Perhaps, this family did not even know that their own hell had quietly begun. Since Shen Jianxuan had already woken up, then of course, he could choose to slowly torture this family of 3. If they did not go crazy, they would not survive. When Mu Qiqi went to the hospital to visit her father again, he spoke much better. It seems that in less than a year and a half, you can be completely like a normal person. Mu Qiqi smiled at Shen Jianxuan as she scooped some soup for him. Shen Jianxuan was satisfied when he saw his daughter. But he said, I hope that I can lie down forever. Then you can come and see me often. I can also come and see you often when you are well. Actually, Mu Qiqi really wanted to know if the series of bad luck that Rong Juanhan had experienced was really related to her father. Do you have any questions? Shen Jianxuan could see that his daughter wanted to say something about Rong Juanhan and her daughter. Speaking of this, give the thing under my pillow to Shen Lin. Shen Jianxuan ordered Mu Qiqi. What? Mu Qiqi reached out her hand and found a small USB flash drive. What's in it? It's not suitable for children, but at least it helped Shen Lin to vent his anger. Mu Qiqi nodded and kept the USB flash drive. Then, she asked Shen Jianxuan, Dad, how much do you plan to deal with Rong Juanhan and her family? Shen Jianxuan could not answer her. He could not answer her. Who knew? Let's see how happy he was. When Mu Qiqi saw that he did not speak, she knew that he must be hiding a sinister scheme in his mind. In this aspect, he and Xiao Xiao were too similar. Both of them were people who refused to be taken advantage of, and they would definitely take revenge. Do you have a boyfriend? Mu Qiqi was stunned by Shen Jianxuan's sudden question. Mu Qiqi did not have time to answer him, but Shen Jianxuan had already noticed something. Does this mean that you have a boyfriend? Whose child is it? Dad, you should drink the soup. Mu Qiqi stuffed his mouth with the soup. She stopped him from asking any more questions. Shen Jianchuan did not want to be an annoying father. He just shut his mouth. It was too easy to investigate. But he did not want his daughter to be disappointed in him. After Mu Qiqi came out of the hospital, she took the things and went to Shin Mansion. Although Shen Lin did not know how to face her, Mu Qiqi was a generous person. She took the initiative to greet him. My father asked me to give this to you. He said that he wants to help you to vent your anger. Shen Lin took the things and looked at Mu Qiqi. In the end, he sighed and apologized. I'm sorry for what happened just now. Although I don't like you, you didn't do anything to me. That's a different matter. Mu Qiqi replied. Moreover, your task now is to deal with your relationship with Yu Jing. You can settle the score with me in the future. Anyway, you still have a long way to go. Qiqi, thank you. If you really want to thank me, then pluck up your courage and be a decent man. That way, I'll look up to you even more. Yu Jing, that bitch, I want to beat her up every time I see her. You should really fight back and let me watch the show. I think it's good too. I'll try. They had been in love for a long time, and they had sacrificed so much. It was not easy to let go. Mu Qiqi did not force him. After all, it was Shen Lin's personal matter. It had nothing to do with her. But now, when she went to Shin Mansion, apart from Grandpa Shen's love, Huang Yu and Shin Jinyan also served her well. They really treated Mu Qiqi like their own daughter. Because of that, Mu Qiqi's status in the Shen family rose. Of course, some were happy and some were sad. Seeing that Mu Qiqi was so popular, third daughter-in-law started to feel bad. Although she had been as quiet as a chicken over the last few days, quietly observing how things would develop, the old man would probably only remember Mu Qiqi as his granddaughter in the end, and forget about her own daughter. That was not a good thing. Mu Qiqi helped to get rid of Rong Junhan. Of course, they should thank her. But they had to be careful. The Shen family asked Mu Qiqi to stay for dinner, but Mu Qiqi rejected them. She said that she wanted to go home and have dinner with her aunt. But Su Zipei and Lu Wenhua were together now. She did not need to be the third wheel anymore. But Mu Qiqi insisted. So, the Shen family did not ask her to stay. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.